The Glenwood Booster Club celebrates the success and hard work of our Glenwood Rams. Being a Glenwood booster means making a difference in the lives of our student athletes both today and into the future. Membership is available at all levels and goes directly to giving the Rams everything they need to succeed. The Glenwood Booster Club is proud to support the live stream and proud to support our Glenwood Rams. Contact us and follow us on Facebook to find out how you can join the Glenwood Booster Club. Go Rams!
Thank you for joining us in this local production of your hometown activities. It gives us at Fuller Digital Solutions great pleasure in partnering with you and your community. Over the last year, we've invested more than $300,000 for local streams just like this one, covering more than 1,000 events and more than 1 million views. If you are a business interested in sponsoring events like this one, please contact us today. Thank you for watching and helping support your local Fuller Digital Solutions streams. As the largest GSI grain bin dealer in the state of Iowa for the past 15 years, CS Agro prides themselves on grain bin builds and service and offer a complete line of GSI equipment, including grain bins, grain dryers like top dry, tower dryers, and portable dryers, bucket elevators, air systems, conveyors, and chain loop systems. They do everything from concrete to erection to electrical and service before, during, and after the sale. Stop in, give them a call, or contact them at csagro.com, your GSI bin dealer in Calumet, Iowa.
Ida Grove Homes has been in business here since 1992. We sell modular and manufactured homes. We work with two different companies, Schultz and North Star System Built. You can customize what we have, or you can even bring in a plan of your own and they can modify it to make it work for you. But a walkthrough is really the best way to see what these homes are like. Currently we have 7 homes here, 3 North Star, 4 Schultz.
Check out your new dream home at Ida Grove Homes and online at idagrovehomes.com.
For those with big dreams and big ambitions, the world is waiting. Unlock the power of possibility at Iowa Western. Our immersive, high-tech programs give you the skills to bring your full potential to the world. With over 80 fields to explore, turn your passion into your career in half the time and for thousands less than a 4-year institution. The world is waiting at an IWCC location near you. Register for classes today.
Welcome to Wall of Fame, where style meets customization, specializing in crafting custom clothing and print shirts. We ensure every stitch and every print is of the highest quality, so you get the best clothes every time. We're here for all your promotion needs, and the best part, our process is seamless. Simply share your designs with us and we'll handle the rest. Get custom clothes for the best price. Wall of Fame, not just embroidery.
Money on your internet bill? With Western Iowa Networks, it's easy. When a new customer signs up and mentions your name, you both get a $50 bill credit just for spreading the word. Plus, experience the power of WindSpeed Fiber Internet with speeds that keep up with your life. Plans start at just $59.99 a month. Call or text 712-775-2946 or sign up online at westianet.com. Western Iowa Networks, connecting you to what matters for 120 years.
Introducing the robust workhorse from Holstein Manufacturing, the HFAB Ultra Tilt Bed Trailer.
Whether you are hauling heavy equipment or delivering precious cargo, our tilt bed trailers, ranging from 20 to 28 feet in length, are engineered with strength and designed to handle it with ease. Forget the hassles of ramps. They're built to tilt. Tilt bed trailers at Holstein Manufacturing.
Holstein Manufacturing.
And online at holsteinmfg.com.
Into our Keys Auto Center High School football scoreboard show. We are going to the phone lines, and we are going to our Agrivision Equipment Group Player of the Night. What a night for Scott Reed of Glenwood. He has had a fantastic season, but tonight's he outdid himself. 19 carries, a school record, 326 yards rushing. He's with us right now. Scott, how you doing, man?
I'm doing amazing.
Yeah, I bet you are. Tell me a little bit about this evening for you. You know, what was going well for you? Obviously, you go for 326 and you don't even carry it 20 times. A lot must have been going well.
Honestly, it's just all about my offense. I mean, we worked really hard in the off season, and yeah, I'll give all the credit to the O-line. I can't do nothing if we don't got the O-line, you know what I'm saying? So they're the ones that really opened up the holes for me and block the dudes that need to be blocked for me to be able to run that far. So, honestly, you should be doing the interview with the O-line right now.
Yeah, well, hey, one of the, I guess, traditions of this award is we do generally shout out the O-line. So let's take a run through them. Who are the guys that were, paving the way for you?
You caught me on the spot right here. So we got, I don't know, left guard, left tackle, none of that. So I know we got Jordan. We got Big Trace. We got TJ, Todd. We got God, you got me on the spot.
I really did.
We got Mason Kohler. We got one more dude. I don't know. They're big dudes. We got big dudes in front of me. That's all I care about, honestly.
Yeah, and honestly, you know what? They are kind of, if they had it their way, they wouldn't have any names anyway. That's just kind of how offensive linemen are. They don't like to talk about it, so they let the running backs do it for them. Scott, I guess, this has been an unbelievable start to the season for not just yourself, but your team as a whole. You beat 3 Hawkeye 10 conference teams, and you do it, pretty handily, other than last week was a pretty tight game. But, I mean, what can you say about the success so far this season, 3-0?
I think it's very much correlated with how we worked in the off season, and not even just like the work that we put in, but the way we changed the culture. And it's way more than just football. Honestly, it's brotherhood, I think. So yeah, it's deeper than just Scott Reed running the ball and getting touchdowns. It's way deeper than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. Before the season started, just hearing, Coach Foss and some of our interviews we did with him, he just sounded like a guy that was feeling really, really positive about what he saw, coming into this season. Can you give a little insight into that from the player perspective and what you, felt throughout the offseason, the work that you and your team put in to get yourself, to the point where you're playing as good a football as you are?
Yeah, so I felt like Coach Foss was very supportive, and he's one of the best coaches around. I mean, he's so knowledgeable. He's one of the smartest men I know. I actually look up to him a lot, but, he really takes his job really seriously. Like, that's his life. I mean, I love it. He's all about football. He's all about the team. He's all about us, and, I just love it. Mm-hmm. Love everything about it.
Well, how about breaking the record? What's that mean to you?
Means absolutely nothing. I'm going to go out there and play football next week. Same thing.
Yeah. Well, hey, good. Scott, regardless of if it means anything to you, you are now the all-time leader in single-game record and rushing yardage. A big night for Scott, our Agrivision Equipment Group Player of the Night. Scott, congratulations to you, man. We really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us, and have a great rest of your night, okay?
I appreciate it. Y'all have a good night, too.
High school football season, and I'm excited for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton Glenwood on the KMA video stream on Friday night, taking a look at it from the Sergeant Bluff-Lutton side with head coach Justin Smith. Coach, I guess just first off, 3 games in, you've played some really good teams, you're sitting at 2-1. How are we feeling with how things have gone so far?
Pretty good. We're a lot better than we were week 1, and that's the main thing, is just getting better every week, showing improvement.
Yeah, and right now you've played a Bishop Hewlin Catholic team. It's one of the top teams in Class 3A. A Lewis Central team. It's always one of the top teams in Class 4A. And then a Thomas Jefferson team that was playing some really good football coming into that matchup on Friday night. I guess let's just start with that TJ game. Really dominant showing from your team. What stood out to you? What would you like on Friday night?
What I really liked is we had a bunch of kids step into roles that they hadn't been in the previous situations because of injuries. We were down a couple linemen. We were down probably our best threat on offense. Ryan Husen was out with an injury. And we just had kids step in. Becker Barros stepped in and ran for, 200 yards on 10 carries. The offensive line guys that stepped in did a nice job. we still got to continue to get better, but the improvement was there.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, I mean, you've played some really good teams so far. What have you learned about your team as you guys have been challenged and been through that adversity early in the season?
Well, we learned when we play pretty well, we're a pretty good team. And we learned when we don't do things right, we're not. We're just not talented enough to not execute well and be successful.
Justin Smith, head football coach at Sergeant Bluff-Lutton. In the ground game, I know you guys want to run the football, and you've done so at a very efficient clip so far, already over 1,000 yards on the ground. Speak to what you're seeing there and kind of what's working within the ground game.
The stuff we run, there's a lot of misdirection with it. There's a lot of stuff that kind of defense gets them. And make kids, read keys and give them eye candy, we call it, and they tend to mess up a little bit. So that's a lot of it. We have good speed, and our skill position players are great blockers too. We say if you don't block in this offense, you don't play. So our split ends are great blockers, our wings, our backs are all great blockers, and our QB even gets involved in the blocking schemes of a lot of our plays.
Crazy to think we're a third of the way through the regular season now. What's the one or two things you like the most about your team as we sit a third of the way through the season?
Their ability to reset every play, whether it's a good play or a bad play, reset to the next one, just move on, flush it, and let's go. It doesn't matter how good or how bad the last play was, the next one's right in front of you, go execute that one. And they did that game to game as well.
Now looking ahead to Friday night, a Glenwood team that's playing some really good football right now. Early thoughts on them and the challenges they'll present to your team.
Everybody's going to be bigger than we are, so let's start with that one. They have good size up front, and we don't. So we have to play a good pad level and use our quickness as our advantage. They're using two QBs, one they like to throw with a little bit more, one they like to run with a little more. That always presents a little challenge for the defense. But just overall, Coach Faust does a really nice job down there, and he has for a long time.
Yeah, and looking at their offense, as you guys go against them, they've been able to throw the ball well. I know their running backs also coming off a monster performance, so they've been able to show balance this year. What will you guys have to do defensively?
You got to execute. You got to read your keys. You got to ignore the eye candy. Just focus on your reads and keys, and then get downhill and make the play.
How about offensively? What does this game come down to for your team?
Execution. When we execute well, we're pretty solid. When we don't execute well, we just don't have the talent up front to overcome that.
Justin Smith, head football coach at Sergeant Bluff-Lutton. Coach, we appreciate the time today and wish you the best of luck on Friday night.
All right, I appreciate it.
Super excited for Glenwood, Sergeant Bluff-Lutton on the KMA video stream Friday night. I'll have the call alongside John Lee, taking a look at this matchup now with Glenwood head coach Corey Faust. Coach, I guess just first off, a third of the way through the regular season, and you guys are 3-0 and seem to be playing some pretty good football. How are we feeling right now?
Yeah, excited to get another chance to play this week. Thankful for a really good group of players and just family, community, just everything we got going on. I think every football season's pretty special, but this one's been especially good so far just because of the care that the players have put in. If you want to do something well, you got to care about it. You got to spend more time on it. You got to have more attention to detail and more discipline and more grit. And our guys have done that so far this year. So I'm thankful for that, excited about it. But we also know, there's a chance for some more good memories out there and the chance for us to close the gap even more between our potential and where we're at now.
Looking back at last week, really dominant win over Creston. I guess just kind of, touch on that game and what'd you like there?
Yeah, Creston gave us all we could handle that first quarter. They're really well coached and did some, maybe not trick plays, but some things just to kind of keep us off balance there for a while. And our guys did a nice job just hanging in there and making some adjustments and communicating and doing those things. A highlight was we were able to break the single game individual rushing record, which Scott Reed will go down as the record holder on that one. But, that's a team thing. TJ Smith, Trace Johnson, Jordan Taylor, Mason Kohler, and Drake Boothie are our starting offensive linemen, and those guys don't get enough credit. Really, for us on both sides of the ball, I think they've been really a key to our success. The line play as well as Jacob Bell starting on the defensive line and Josh Taylor. So that was a fun night, a fun thing to be able to do that and put some points on the board.
Yeah, and I know with that, Scott had a phenomenal night, and he was our player of the night. With that, to me, what kind of stood out was, he had success there. I know early in the year, you guys have been able to throw the ball well as well. Are you guys as balanced offensively as you'd like to be right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think, balance could be defined a lot of different ways. Is it that, you got 5-6 different guys that can score with it? Is it that you can threaten, the entire field sideline to sideline as well as vertically? Is it just that you can do what the defense gives you? So that's a constant quest, just trying to find, who we are, what our talent level is, and as well as what the strengths of our opponents are. So, we're, like I said, we're lucky. We've got some good talent here. We feel like if we control the things we can control, we've got players that are definitely capable of making plays and competing.
3-0, but I know you'd be the first to say there's always areas where you can get better. You can always get better. Anything in particular where you feel like this group still has to grow and improve on moving forward?
Especially this week, it seems to me, I spend a little bit more time thinking about our defensive side of the ball, but this has probably been a theme each week we've talked, but just our physicality needs to be better. We need to be better at striking blockers, especially at the second and third levels. Teams are going to make us do that, and especially Sergeant Bluff this week. They're they got some really good scheme and some really good players. I've watched all their games actually the last 2 years. They've had a lot of success, and their players they really put a lot of pressure on you. A little bit of a non-traditional offense, some quick hitting stuff, and they will force your players on the perimeter to get physical. And you can't run around blockers. You can't wait for the ball to get to you when you're at the point of attack. You got to get downhill and strike blockers there first, rather than worrying about making the tackle. And then after you strike the blocker, you work off of it. And then hopefully we're pursuing the ball really well too. So, for me, just thinking about our defensive side of the ball, that's an area where we've got the biggest gap to close in our first 3 weeks. And, this is just the right recipe for that, because Sergeant Bluff is definitely going to make us do that.
Yeah, and looking to that Sergeant Bluff-Lutton matchup now, as you mentioned, they're going to run the football a lot. I think they've got like 1,100 yards in the first 3 games. I know they kind of do it in a different way that maybe you don't see a lot of, at the 4A level. I guess speak to, how you guys go about trying to defend their ground game. What will you guys have to do against that?
Well, game planning is a big part of it. Not going to lie. I try to pride myself on putting our players in the best situation to be successful. So there's a lot of film study on our end, and then we've got to be able to communicate that and make it simple so our players know what's going on, and they're able to execute and see things on the field as well. So, they're just a heck of a team. They've got just a couple really good running backs. They've got, they don't throw the ball a lot, but when they do, they are deadly. They've got a couple just really fast kids that make plays. The quarterback can run and throw. Both of those guys are back. They got a 1,000-yard rusher that's back, and then number 44 can just do everything. He's just a beast on both sides of the ball, and can block and catch and run and do all the stuff, as well as, their line play is really good as well. So, Sergeant Bluff, we're excited for an opportunity to get to play those guys. I think they're as good as anybody in the state. So it'll be an awesome challenge for us, and I'm really excited to get going this week.
What's the most important thing for you guys on Friday night?
Besides the turnovers and penalties, which I know is you guys get tired of hearing that, it's the big plays. Are we going to be able to do our assignments and run to the ball, and are we going to be able to limit the big plays? And I think the same is true for us when we're on offense. We do have big play potential. It's going to be hard to execute play after play and go 3 yards in a cloud of dust against Sergeant Bluff, just because they're so talented and so well coached. We're going to have to find a way to create some big plays and explosive plays on our end, and I think the team that can do that better is probably going to win the game.
Looking forward to it. Corey Faust, head football coach at Glenwood. Coach, appreciate the time today and wish you the best of luck on Friday.
Hey, thanks a lot, Trevor. Appreciate all you guys do.
Welcome, everybody, to another night of Glenwood Rams football. I'm John Lee. Here with me this week, Trevor Mader from KMA joining me here in the booth, helping me with the calls tonight. We had a nice pregame show here with interviews from our friends at KMA, from Coach Smith over at Scottsbluff, Coach Faust, and Scotty Reed for being the Agrovision
Equipment Group Player of the Night.
There you go. Thank you, Trevor.
Should be a fun one here tonight. Sergeant Bluff-Lutton 2-1 on the year, number 5 in the KMA Sports 4A state rankings, number 3 in our KMA Land 3A, 4A, 5A rankings. Start of the year with a loss to a state-rated Bishop Heelan Catholic team in a 14-6 defensive battle. Beat a state-rated Lewis Central team last week. Final non-district game for them under the guidance of Coach Justin Smith, who, by the way, for you KMA Landers, Sergeant Bluff-Lutton's in KMA Land. He's from the heart of KMA Land, a Hamburg alum, just down I-29. So they're coming to Glenwood here tonight. And, John, I know you've had a chance to follow the Rams really closely this year. A really good start for Coach Corey Foss' squad. 3-0, ranked number 9 in the top 5 of our KMA Land power rankings. I mentioned in my story this week, of all the undefeated teams left, they've been the most pleasant surprise. I'm intrigued to see what it looks like here tonight.
Yes, I'm going to tell you right now, the big thing leading the way for these Rams is that offensive line. When you're anchored down by a big line that's averaging 6'2", 255, as my cohort Clint would say, probably one of the biggest offensive lines on average in the state right now. And you got Scotty Reed running behind them. Set a school record last week for a single game, 326 yards on the ground with 1 touchdown on 18 carries. But they're also led by a young junior quarterback, Ben Carlo, coming in starting for the first time in his career in the varsity level. But you got the experience there at the receivers with them.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing to me in looking at this Glenwood offense from afar through the first third of regular season, as you mentioned, Scott Reed was awesome last week. Early on in the year, Ben Carlo was our week 1 athlete of the week with how he came out throwing in that win over Atlantic. I think it's no secret Corey Foss and company probably want to run the football and lean on those big guys and lean on the athleticism of Scott Reed, but they can be balanced, and I'm intrigued to see how that matches up tonight against the Sergeant Bluff-Lutton team that I don't think it's any secret I don't think one-dimensional is the right word, but they want to run the football and run it a lot.
Yes, I mean, on the season, their quarterback, Isaiah Jervik, 23 passing attempts all year. I mean, with 164 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 INTs. Where Glenwood with Carlo has 49 attempts this year with 3 touchdowns and 1 INT. So a lot different there. Yeah, Glenwood can be balanced, but like what Clint and I saw up at Harlan in that matchup, time of possession, that is going to be key. Whoever controls the ball more is probably going to come out ahead in this game.
And I will say, and having watched a little bit of film on Sergeant Bluff-Lutton, they're, with what they run, and I can dive into that here in just a moment, they're not like a 3-yard and cloud of dust offense. They want to hit big plays and utilize their speed. Coach Justin Smith in our interview, which you'll hear in a little bit, he told me
we already played it.
Yeah, he told me we don't have a lot of size, but we have speed, we have athleticism, we're going to try to use it. And for those of you that are watching at home, if this is your first time seeing Sergeant Bluff-Lutton tonight, they're going to run something a little bit different that you don't see a lot of, especially at the large class level. It's kind of like a modern version of the flex bone, a lot of sweeps and option plays out of that. And if you're Glenwood, you're going to have to find a way to combat that and neutralize that.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, the starting defense, you got the same size coming over on the defensive side, where Mr. Drake Boothie's coming off that end. You got Mason Kohler, you got the man-child, we like to call him, Jacob Aust. I mean, they rotate those 3 guys around in the defensive line into different spots there for the Rams. But you also got the super sophomore, Dylan Poles, who started last year as a freshman at middle linebacker for the Rams, making tackles left and right. And then you got Corbin Peltzer also coming in there, stepped up last week. I mean, him and Graham Newberry were having meetings in the backfield of Creston last week.
Yeah, and this is going to be a Glenwood defense that's going to have their hands full tonight. Sergeant Bluff-Lutton has ran for just under 1,100 yards on the year. And they've done it with a handful of different backs. You mentioned Isaiah Jervik. He will run the ball some. Does look like they're without Ryan Houston, who was their starting running back at the beginning of the year. Did not play last week, I believe, in street clothes as they warmed up tonight. But Beckett Varas filled in for him last week in their win over Thomas Jefferson. And on the year, he's got 200-plus yards and 4 touchdowns. So they're going to come at you with a couple of different backs. If you're Glenwood, you're going to have to trust your eyes and not get greedy, not oversell. I think on paper, this is an absolutely fascinating matchup between 2 teams in Class 4A that have aspirations of postseason and deep postseason runs, and somebody's going to have a really quality win in their cap when it's all said and done tonight.
Yes, I agree with you. I mean, like Clint and I were talking last week, this is the teeth of the schedule for the Rams. Mm-hmm. As the Rams go on the road next week, they're going to take on that Lewis Central Titans.
Yeah. So, who might be one of the best 1 and 2 teams in the state right now.
Might be, yeah. So, I mean, that's going to be a hard one there. Like, speaking of Lewis Central, just want to bring up last night on the KMA stream.
Yep, that looked like it was a fun one.
Clint and I probably best volleyball match we saw easily. Titans took the first 2. Thought it was going to be a short night. The Rams come back, take the second 2. The fourth set went 31-29. Then set 5 went extra, was 16-14 was the final in that one. So there's a little bit of rivalry there. The whole football team for Lewis Central was up there last night. So
yeah, it looked like it was a fun one there last night. With this matchup in particular, John, final non-district game for both these teams. And the one thing that is really intriguing to me about tonight, and the big picture, is the way the Class 4A playoffs line up. 2 teams from each district are going to make it, plus 4 wild cards. If you are Glenwood, your district, it's no secret, it's tough. Yes. Lewis Central, ADM are top 5 teams.
Yep.
A win here tonight wouldn't necessarily lock you into the playoffs. You still got to at least take care of business in district play, but it would be a nice win in the RPI rankings.
Yes, 100%. Yes, because
same for Sergeant Bluff for that
You
matter.
have ADM and Boone still on the schedule for the Rams with TJ, Denison, LC.
Yeah, and if you're Sergeant Bluff, you've got a Fort Dodge team that is undefeated and was ranked to start the year. A Lamar's team who's won losses to a really good Bishop Elin team. Whoever wins this game, again, you don't clinch your playoff spot in week 4, but they're going to have a really nice win under their belt later on in the year that they can hang their hat on when it does come crunch time.
Yeah, and you talking about Fort Dodge, the Warriors, that's who they got next week.
Yep.
So, they got a tough schedule too coming ahead.
Yeah.
So, like you said, it's the conference play is hard here in the 4A. So, yeah, I agree with you. 100%, we could see one team making the kind of clinching a playoff spot, we'll call it.
Yeah, being in control of their own destiny, I would say, when it's all said and done tonight. Again, you still got to take care of district play and at bare minimum finish 3rd in your district.
Yeah, and I could see it. Because honestly, this Rams being 3-0 is a surprise to everyone, especially you guys at KMA.
Yeah.
You guys,
some of us look silly in the pick'ems at different times.
You guys have been picking against us somewhat a lot this season. No problem with that. We like it. We're playing with a little bit of chip on our shoulder.
Hey, anytime we can get bulletin board material, that's what we're here for. If we could just keep the burners. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, I made sure to let you guys know. I was sending you text messages after the words. But yeah, this should be a fun one, I think, tonight. And I think it's really the first drive is going to set it all. How this first series goes for whoever has the ball is going to set the tone of this game.
So, John, put on your color analyst hat here tonight. What is priority number 1 on both sides?
Okay, priority number 1 for the Rams on offense. We'll do the offense matchup for Glenwood's offense, Sergeant Bluff's defense. Sergeant Bluff's defense, looking at the numbers, I wasn't too impressed this year. They're giving up 18 points a game, averaging 255 yards. They're giving up a game. That's 132 on the ground, 120 in the air. But they're only getting 1 turnover a game. Not very stingy. They're not taking the ball away. But like you said, Coach Smith talked about the line is big for the Rams. Sergeant Bluff doesn't have that size. Rams have to enforce their will. If they're going to be on offense at first, they got to set the tone. Time of possession needs to go in the favor of the Rams like we saw in Harlan, where the Rams controlled the clock, threw Harlan out of their rhythm, and forced them. Harlan wasn't throwing much before that game. Had to force them to start throwing the ball a lot more in that game to try to get back into it. They got to throw Sergeant Bluff off and try to force them to go into the passing game.
Should be a fun one here tonight. If you're watching at home, by the way, the starting lineup's on your screen for the Glenwood. I believe that Glenwood offense. Defense on the screen. Yeah, it says starting defense. Duh. Yes. One of these days I'll get better at reading teleprompters, but that's your starting defense for the Glenwood Rams. Again, Glenwood 3-0 on the year under the guidance of head coach Corey Fost. As for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton, under the guidance of head coach Justin Smith, they are 2-1 on the year as both teams wrap up non-district play in Class 4A. It should be a dandy here tonight. Trevor Mader, John Lee with you. We've got our man Clint running the video side of things. So I don't know about you, John. I don't know how much pregame you allot for anything, but I'm excited. I'm ready to get this rolling.
We still have 7 minutes of pregame. Dude, we have all this. So, hey, I want to talk about the other side of the ball. Sergeant Bluff's offense, that does worry me. Okay, their offense is averaging 337 yards on the ground a game. But only 68 yards to the air. And they're averaging 32 points a game. Okay? That's what worries me. But on the other side, the Rams defense, averaging 3 sacks and 2 INTs a game. They like to take the ball away. So 4 turnovers a game, they usually get a fumble recovery. Right now they're averaging. So they're doing 3 turnovers, 3 sacks a game. They're only giving up 10 points a game right now. So it could help there, but that's the matchup I think is going to be more interesting to me, is how our defense matches up against their offense.
I'm intrigued by the third down battle, because if you're Sergeant Bluff-Lutton, the last thing you want is like a 3rd and 7 and beyond. And if you're Glenwood defensively, that's going to be the first thing you want to create. Get them into situations where either it's a low percentage chance to convert a run play on 3rd and 7, or make a team who doesn't throw the ball a lot. Of course, if you're Sergeant Bluff in the other way, you'll take 3 or 4 yards on first down and 3 or 4 yards on second down, because then it's giving you a 3rd and 3 or something. Yeah. So, football is always so much, in every sport for this matter, is so much a chess match and, taking, giving and taking. But I think tonight, in this game especially, you will see that. I know Coach Faust has talked about, he talked with me this week about balance isn't necessarily being able to run and throw 50-50. It's getting your guys the ball versus how the opposing team is letting you and taking what they give you. And, there's going to be a lot of give and take tonight. Whichever one masters that better will be, the winner and have a nice win under the belt going to district play.
So speaking of third down, so when you get into that fourth down, field goal territory, here's the thing. Glenwood's had this nice shocker.
Yeah, they've had a really good special team.
Aaron Christian coming out there with the foot. I mean, 6 for 7 on field goal attempts. 44 yards is his long. And he has 12 PATs on the sim. Tied the school record for most points in the game. We're going to take a commercial break for the national anthem. We'll be right back.
At AirServe of Council Bluffs Heating and Air Conditioning Services are our specialty. Our friendly and knowledgeable service professionals are happy to answer any questions you may have and recommend the best service options for you. From tune-ups and maintenance to heater repair and air conditioning replacement, we provide services that keep the air you breathe clean and keep your home or business at the perfect temperature. Call 712-256-4443 or schedule an appointment online at airserve.com/councilbluffs.
Welcome to Waldstein Plumbing, where quality craftsmanship meets exceptional service. Proudly serving Council Bluffs and surrounding areas. Let the experts at Waldstein Plumbing help you keep your drains flowing. From drain cleaning to fixture upgrades to pipe repairs and more, we'll be able to solve whatever plumbing problem you might have. We are available 24/7 for any plumbing emergency. Expert plumbers you can trust. Call 712-308-1500 for service today. Visit our website, waldsteinplumbing.com. Affordable Asphalt LLC is a trusted, family-owned asphalt company based in Glenwood, Iowa, serving homeowners and businesses across southwest Iowa and southeast Nebraska, including Council Bluffs and Omaha. With over 25 years of experience, we specialize in high-quality paving, repairs, and seal coating to keep your driveways, parking lots, and private roads looking sharp. Ready to get started? Contact us today for a free estimate. AffordableAsphaltLLC.com.
Welcome back to Glenwood KMA video stream online, KMAland.com. Trevor Mader, John Lee with you tonight. State-rated Class 4A battle. Glenwood, Sergeant Bluff-Lutton. We're starting an hour early. I don't know if Jeff Beeson wanted to avoid the weather or he wanted to get home in time to watch the second half of the Iowa game. Either way, I'll never complain about a 6 p.m. start. We're about ready to get things going. If you're watching at home, first off, thank you. Second of all, Glenwood, the team in the black uniforms, white jersey numbers. Sergeant Bluff-Lutton, the road team. They will have the white jerseys with the orange numbers. John, we pre-gamed this to death leading up to it. Super excited for this matchup. About go time here in Glenwood.
Yeah, let's see let's see how this first series goes like we've been talking about. Let's see who gets the start here. So it looks like our captain's coming out here tonight to meet at the field for the ceremonial coin toss. Because if you didn't know, the coin toss actually happens.
Yeah, it happens, I think, 6:25 or something is when they formally do it. And like we mentioned, that first possession is going to be very, very important on either side. So Glenwood won the toss and deferred.
Yes.
So Sergeant Bluff-Lutton will get the football to start things, and we'll get a look at that Sergeant Bluff-Lutton offense to get things going here tonight in Glenwood.
Yeah, like I said, this is going to be what the matchup I was worried about, like we talked about pregame show, is how's that offense going to match against the Rams defense? Because both Graham's defense likes to be stingy, they like to take the ball away, they like to cause turnovers. But that offense for Sergeant Bluff is high-powered.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, this is a Sergeant Bluff-Lutton offense. Don't be fooled by them running the flex bone or running the ball 50 sometimes a game or whatever it is. The 3 yards in a cloud of dust, that is not necessarily what they want. They want the 10, 12, 15-yard plays that eventually will turn to a 30 or 40-yard game. That's kind of what gashed Lewis Central in that Week 2 win, was their ability to hit big plays.
Yeah, because, I mean, look, like you said, Beckett... Varas, 18 carries, 309 yards. Has a long of 72 with 4 touchdowns coming into tonight. So, I mean, that's pretty good for just having 18 carries. That was Scott's night last week.
So about ready to get things going. Aaron Christian will kick it away for Glenwood. The returners for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton, Emmett Kneifel and Gavin Anderson. Almost go time in this state-rated Class 4A battle on the KMA video stream. Been waiting all week for this one, and we are about ready to get it off and running as Christian gets ready to put the toe to the football, and we're underway here in Glenwood. This will be a line drive kick that'll be fielded by one of the upbacks at around the 20-yard line up to the 31, 32-ish yard line before the pile eventually brings him down. And actually there on the run for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton was Dax Kudum, standout wrestler for the Warriors, returns that, and now Sergeant Bluff-Lutton's offense is going to be in play right around the 35, and they will actually spot it looks like, at the 34-yard line, John.
Yes, so you'll see that a lot out of the Glenwood kickoffs. They do not kick it deep. They try to optimize getting possession of it. So here they come.
So Isaiah Jervik is the quarterback under center. Again, flex bone look for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton. They put a man in motion, toss to Joe Hardy, one of their wingbacks. He'll bowl forward for about 3 yards. And a positive gain on first down for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton. Hardy was one of the guys that Coach Corey Fost mentioned in the interview that I had with him earlier this week about what he's able to do, and that he's just, as he said, he's just a football player. Picks up 3 and it's second and 7.
Yeah, and so this is where the Rams got to capitalize and make them third and long like we talked about. They need to put them in their comfort zone.
Shotgun look, they put a man in motion. Varas left side goes nowhere. Might have actually lost about a yard or so. There was a gaggle of Rams in there. I know Hayes Stevens among those that cleaned things up.
Another speedster, the backup quarterback for the Rams. We saw him break a run last week for 44 yards. You'll see him rotate in on the offense, too, for the Rams.
So 3rd and 7, as we talked about in the pregame, the kind of situation Sergeant Bluff-Lutton wants to avoid offensively and the kind of spots the Glenwood defense wants to put them in. 3rd and 7 from the SBL 37-yard line. Jervik wanting to pass out of the shotgun. Here's a little screen that is caught and going nowhere.
He gets back to the line of scrimmage.
That was Gavin Warren on the catch. Nice little bubble screen play, but it goes nowhere, so he couldn't find any separation in the middle of the field. A nice 3 and out for the Glenwood defense.
So it looks like going back deep for the Rams, Jack Johnson. He kind of took over return duties here for the Rams after last week.
So Gavin Merrill will be the punter, by the way, for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton. Good end-over-end punt, and Johnson will signal for the fair catch at the 21-yard line. Now the Rams offense will go to work there for the first time tonight. Ben Carlo, the starting quarterback, had a really good season opening win over Atlantic, turned Jim Hughes Real Estate KMA Land Athlete of the Week honors. And then Scott Reed, as you mentioned earlier, 330-plus yards last week against Creston, was the Agrivision Equipment Group Player of the Night. So a Glenwood offense that has shown balance early on in the season, going to get their first crack against a Sergeant Bluff-Lutton defense that has given up totals of 14, 27, and 14 points this year. Out of a shotgun will go Glenwood. Here's a run. Reed running between the tackles. Gets a couple yards, fighting for extra yardage. Reed does a good job shucking the first defender. Turns what could have been like a 2-yard gain into about an 8-yard gain to the 29-yard line. And a second short coming up for the Rams.
And see, that's what I was telling you about before the game. Scotty is hard to take down on the first contact. He runs low and he runs angry. He's looking like he's looking for contact every time.
Call it a short 2, long 1, whatever we want to call it. It's second and short coming up for Glenwood. Right around the 30-yard line, Carlo will have a running back on his right hip out of the shotgun. It is Scott Reed, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Run Reed, left side, cuts it back up, close to the first down, should have it. Needed about 1.5 and got 2 as there was a pile of Warriors in there to make the tackle, including Kennick Bushman, but it's a 2-yard gain for a first down for this Glenwood offense.
So yeah, Rams offense trying to set the tone here. The defense was able to put the Warriors in an uncomfortable position, force them to punt, so time of possession has to come into play here. We're at 9 minutes here in the first, with the Rams getting their first down, and they're not in any rush to get the play off here.
Yeah, and the key to that time of possession is also being able to finish those drives with points. 1st and 10 coming up for Glenwood. They'll move Reed from the right side to the left side of Carlo out of a shotgun. Play fake. Carlo wanting to take a shot deep over the middle. Caden Crouch couldn't quite connect. There was a little bit of contact between Crouch and the defender for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton, Justin Ehlers, but no harm, no foul. And it's a 2nd and 10 coming up for the Glenwood offense.
Yeah, Ehlers is one of the few Warriors, looking at their team, that has a pick so far on the season.
Yeah, had one. I believe it was against Lewis Central. He was able to pick them off. So now a 2nd down coming up for Glenwood on their own 32-yard line. 8:42 to go here in the first quarter. Scoreless game thus far. First possession for the Rams. Carlo will hand off Reed. Reed fighting for a couple of yards to the 33-34-yard line. They'll spot at the 34. So now a 3rd and about 8 coming up, and we'll see what Coach Corey Foss draws up here.
Yeah, they tried the deep shot here early. Puts the Rams out of rhythm with 3rd and long. Rams came out trying to spread things out with 4 receivers on that last one. Didn't quite work for them.
Yeah, so now a 3rd and 8 coming up for Glenwood from their own 34-yard line of their first drive of the game. Trips right, 1 to the left, shotgun look for Carlo. He'll put Reed out now. Swings it to Reed out of the backfield, makes the catch, makes one defender miss, trying to spin around another defender and gets wrestled down. A flag comes in away from the ball, though, and we'll have to check that marker. If it's on Sergeant Bluff-Lutton, that would probably be a first down for Glenwood. If it's on Glenwood, I would imagine Sergeant Bluff-Lutton will decline it. It was a short gain on a pass from Ben Carlo to Scott Reed, but now the officials conversing. And judging by the Glenwood reaction, that's on Sergeant Bluff-Lutton. It's a face mask on SBL.
So that'll give them an automatic first down here.
Well, they only mark it off as 5, so in the high school game, it's not an automatic first down, but it'll make it 3rd and short.
So 3rd and about 4 here, it looks like.
So instead of a potential punt coming up for Glenwood, now they've got a 3rd and short coming up from their own 39-yard line after that face mask.
I wouldn't be surprised if we bring the H back in this. No, they're going back with 4 wide, twins on each side there for you.
Reed on the left hip of Carlo. Design quarterback run. Carlo trying to bounce right side. Got brought down from behind. Joe Hardy got off his blocker and chases Carlo down on 3rd down. And likely a punt coming up for Glenwood as the punt unit will come out with Jose Diaz.
Yeah, Diaz coming out here to punt. Let's see if the Rams special teams can keep things in check here.
So neither team able to put any points on the board in their first drive. Glenwood moved the ball a little bit better, but 1 first down and then a punt. Jose Diaz will punt it away for Glenwood here on 4th down. Diaz, nice end-over-end punt. It'll be rolling inside the 30 to inside the 20 and down out of near the sideline around the 19-yard line. The return man, Gavin Warren, wanted no part of that. And, John, we've seen both teams 1 possession right now. If you're Glenwood, you like what you did defensively But it's going to be hard to contain that all night against a Sergeant Bluff-Lutton offense that's capable of big plays.
Yeah, because, like I said, they got to keep them in check on the run game. Then we've got to, watch when we're taking those deep shots on those and keep we're noticing running the ball. We're getting a couple yards. 3.5 yards a down, a carry, get you a first down. So let's see if we can. The Rams got them pinned back deep here on the 19. Let's see how this second series goes.
Again, Sergeant Bluff-Lutton will work out of that flex bone. They put a man in motion on the right side. They give right to left and able to churn up past the 20-yard line for a couple of yards. His first touch of the night, Emmett Kneifel, with a positive gain on first down. Again, what Sergeant Bluff-Lutton wants to do is all about deception and making your eyes think one thing versus what's actually happening.
Yeah, this is like I'm seeing flashbacks of the old Nebraska wing T offense here.
Second down coming up for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton on their own 22. They'll put Hardy in motion right to left, give to Hardy. Hardy got by one defender and had a nice little seam for a moment and gets brought down near the 28-yard line. And they're going to give him the first down, it looks like.
Yeah, Hayes Stevens brought him down on that one, but he falls forward enough to get that first down.
Needed 6, got 6, and the first down of the night for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton comes with 5:50 to go in the first quarter of their second possession. Again, out of the flex bone, Jervik under center. They'll put Hardy in motion right to left, toss to Hardy. Hardy got upended. Got maybe a yard or so before being brought down.
By Mr. Dylan Poles, that is.
Dylan Poles, who I know when I talked to Coach Fost a couple weeks ago, really applauded how well he had been playing defensively from his linebacker spot.
Yeah, he just met him right in the hole there and just picked him up.
Will be about a 2-yard gain for Hardy, but nonetheless, second down coming up for the Sergeant Bluff-Lutton offense. We approach 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. They'll go out of a shotgun. They'll do that from time to time. Jervik with Varas in the slot moves him over a little bit on the right side. Play fake, and they screen it to Warren. Warren got grabbed on by it, got an ankle grabbed onto and went nowhere and actually lost a yard.
Yeah, that was your state wrestling champion Mason Kohler just got his hands on. Once he gets your hands on, you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, if you try to tie up with Mason Kohler, not that's what happened there, but you're probably not going to win that very often. So when it goes in the books, a loss of 2 and a 3rd and 10 coming up for the Sergeant Bluff-Lutton offense. Second possession where they put themselves in a 3rd and long. Last time on 3rd down, they went that bubble screen that we just saw them run on 2nd down. So we'll see what Coach Justin Smith draws up here. Shotgun, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Jervik, back to pass, takes a shot downfield to Varas. Varas trying to find it. He does near the sideline. Was he inbounds? They'll say he was at the 43-yard line. Good sideline awareness by Beckett Varas, able to kind of turn around and find the football. Yeah. Makes a big catch for a first down.
Yeah, Gavin Abbott lost him there for a second here and was able to recover enough to get back there and make the stop, but Varas just had enough room there to make the catch and get 1 foot in.
Goes in the books as a gain of 28 to the Glenwood 43-yard line. First play of the night on the other team's side of the field. They will keep it with Jervik. After faking the give to Varas, he goes nowhere as he ran into the pile of Rams. I see Drake Boothie among those in there on the tackle. Dylan Poles as well.
3:58 here on the clock, and time of possession is coming into play here like we talked about.
So second down coming up for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton after a gain of 1 on the Varas run moments ago. So on second down, they'll put Hardy in motion. They give to Hardy, running right to left, and he gets spun down from behind. That might have been, was that Kohler in there again, I believe?
Again. Kohler made the initial contact in the hole and wrapped him up, and Jacob House came in there and helped him clean that up.
So it'll be no gain, and now a 3rd down and 9 coming up for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton. With 3:15 to go here in the first quarter. Warriors taking their time, breaking the huddle. 17 left on the play clock.
3 minutes left on the game clock here in the first quarter.
Yeah, fast-moving first frame so far. And now Coach Justin Smith going to call a timeout. So they're going to talk things over, and we'll be back in a moment from Glenwood KMA Video Stream.
A-Strope Insurance Services has been serving the residents of Mills County since 1946. A-Strope agents take the time to listen, understand, and customize an insurance plan with you to cover all your needs. As an independent insurance agency, you can feel comfortable knowing you got the best rates. From protecting your passions to securing your future, A-Strope has you covered. Choose A-Strope Insurance Services, where tailor-made protection meets peace of mind.
Welcome back to Glenwood. KMA video stream online, KMAland.com. Trevor Mader, John Lee with you. Clint masterfully working the camera so far. No complaints through the first 9 minutes. No score between Glenwood and Sergeant Bluff-Lutton state-rated Class 4A matchup. Sergeant Bluff-Lutton facing a 3rd down and 9 from the Glenwood 42 coming out of this timeout. And as evidenced by the timeout taken by head coach Justin Smith, feels like a big play here.
Yeah, because, I mean, and the Rams they're bringing in 4 down linemen, and they're putting Boothie on the edge here.
Jervik out of the shotgun. Pass is dropped by Gavin Warren. Had a little bit of green between him and a defender. Don't know they would be able to get upfield and get the first down, but nonetheless, it might have made it an easier 4th down decision. But Warren can't glove it.
Yeah, he heard the footsteps of Shane Pratt coming in right behind him. Pratt's been playing lockdown coverage these first 3 games.
So now the punting unit on for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton. Gavin Merrill will punt it. Jack Johnson stands inside the 10. And if you're Sergeant Bluff-Lutton, nothing else, a good punt here, and you flip the field position. Glenwood almost got to that punt, and it'll kick it away from Johnson. It'll roll inside the 10. Johnson kind of dangerously blocked an SBL defender. It rolls into the end zone, though, for a touchback, and now the Rams will be in business.
Yeah, Corbin Pelzer putting pressure on that on the punter there, and we saw that last week coming in from that linebacker spot.
So now a second look at the Glenwood offense that on that first drive picked up a first down on their in the opening sequence, and then couldn't net another one, had to punt it away. They did total 12 yards on the ground.
Yeah, threw him off rhythm there with that getting the first down, then trying the deep shot.
So now Ben Carlo in the shotgun. Scott Reed to his right, 2 receivers to each side. Carlo back to pass. Will toss it right side. Jack Johnson gets the catch, puts a move on a defender, and he's got a big play to around the 45-yard line. A little shimmy by Jack Johnson to pick up some extra yardage. They'll mark him down to the 48, and it's a gain of 28 for Glenwood.
Yeah, Jack Johnson coming in, leading receiver for the Rams so far with 158 yards on the season. You get the ball in his hands, he is hard to bring down. So you see him get the ball. They try to find ways to get the ball in his hands. You'll see him run sweeps and options with him.
2:20 to go in the first quarter. Here's a give. Scott Reed into SBL territory before being wrestled down by a couple of different Warriors just inside of SBL territory at the 49-yard line. Xavier Jones among those in there to make the tackle, but a gain of 2 for this Glenwood offense on first down. And John, second down to me is the intriguing play here if you're Glenwood, because we saw that last drive. They got thrown off kilter because they did not have an efficient second down.
Yeah, so let's see what they're doing here. We haven't seen H-back formation from the Rams, which we normally see. We're seeing 4 wide right now.
We'll move Reed from right to left, and now Carlo looks over to the sideline. Down to 4 on the play clock. Carlo takes the snap, wanting to pass right side, coming back to make the catch for Glenwood on the right side, and then spinning forward for a handful of yards is Ethan Eisman.
Yeah, gets a Rams first down there. Eisman made the catch, put a hand down, did a little spin there, and got going.
Yeah, nice little move by Eisman. And a gain of 12 to the SBL 36-yard line. And a fresh set of downs for the Rams. They try to keep this drive moving. 1:15 to go in the first quarter. Carlo with Reed on his right hip. They'll put Johnson, a little bit of movement for him in the slot on the left side. Carlo, pass to Caden Crouch, makes the catch, tries to get by one defender. He does, and fights for extra yardage before being brought down.
That's going to be close.
At around the 26-yard line. Judging by the initial spot, they're going to move the chains, and it's another Glenwood Rams first down. The short passing game starting to come to life for Glenwood.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Glenwood can be balanced here and what they decide to do.
So 1st and 10 for Glenwood, under a minute to go here in the quarter. Carlo has 3 receivers to the right. They will run it with Reed. Reed running behind his blockers up around the 20-yard line. They will spot it at the 20-yard line. Gain of 6. That could be the final play of the first quarter if Glenwood wants it to be.
We have an injury timeout right now. We have a Warrior player down.
So we'll step aside here on the KMA video stream, KMAland.com.
At Best Finish Auto Sales LLC, we are proud of the quality used cars we sell and our dedication to serve the needs of our customers. We have a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles and finance options. At Best Finish Auto, you'll find a wide variety of automotive services offered. Our team of expert mechanics is here to handle all your auto repair needs. From oil changes to major repairs, we do it all. Visit us at 209 Sharp Street, Glenwood, or online at bestfinishglenwood.com.
Glenwood State Bank, serving Glenwood since 1899. For 125 years, we have strived to be more than just a bank. We are your neighbors and your friends. Along with Frontier Savings Bank in Council Bluffs and First State Bank in Tabor, we are dedicated to making a difference where it matters most, right here in the heart of our communities. Like the Glenwood Rams, it takes a total team effort to be successful. Together, we're building something lasting.
Go Rams!
Abram Jones, the injured Warrior, able to come to the sideline under his own power. Good sign. He'll get looked at by the Sergeant Bluff-Lutton medical staff. 29 seconds to go in the first quarter. No score. Glenwood threatening, though. 2nd and 4 from the Sergeant Bluff-Lutton 20-yard line. Coming out of this injury timeout, and the clock will run. So Glenwood can take it to the quarter if they want, or they can run one more play, and they're lining up like they'll run one more play. They put Johnson in motion left to right. 3 receivers to the right. Now Carlo looks over to the sideline, and now he's like, do I take it to the quarter or do I not? Down to under 10 left in the quarter. Down to 5. And it looks like they're just going to go into the second quarter. So all that, and they decide to sit on it, but Glenwood will have a 2nd and 4 from the Sergeant Bluff-Lutton 20 when we go to the second quarter. No score here in Glenwood. KMA video stream.
Count on the ASE certified technicians at Glenwood Collision Repair for your auto body repair needs. From hail damage repairs to complete repairs, we can handle it all with ease.
Take your body to the next level. Iron Fitness Center offers the most well-rounded fitness experience in Glenwood, Iowa. Open 24/7. Our gym offers cardio and weight training equipment, 2 half basketball and pickleball courts, a sauna, and IV hydration provided by IV Lounge. Come check us out for an introductory day or become a member today. Let's get to working on you. Located at 109 South Walnut, Glenwood. Learn more at ironfitnesscenter.com.
Welcome back to Glenwood KMA video stream online, KMAland.com. Trevor Mader, John Lee with you. We go to the second quarter. No score, but Glenwood threatening 2nd and 4 on the Sergeant Bluff-Lutton 20-yard line. And, John, we've seen so far tonight, for the most part, the short passing game has, created the big plays for Glenwood, but they've ran the ball well through the first quarter. They just haven't had to run the ball a lot.
Yeah. Carlo right now is 3 for 4 on the night with 51 yards. Reed has 5 carries for 22. But you're seeing the Rams catch the ball short, and then they're breaking tackles and getting that extra yardage is what we're seeing.
And with 2nd and 4, the playbook is wide open if you're Coach Corey Foss. So Glenwood trying to get the first score of the night. 3 receivers to the right. Reed on the right hip of Carlo in the shotgun. Crouch, the lone receiver on the left side. Carlo wanting to throw right side. It is caught by Eisman. He'll get brought down from behind at around the 11-yard line. The Sergeant Bluff-Lutton defender on that, Aiden Konopasek, actually read that pretty well and almost jumped it.
Looks like they're marking him about the 9.5-yard line. So 1st and goal for the Rams.
So a gain of 11 on the connection from Carlo to Eisman. And a goal-to-go situation for Glenwood.
And that's what we were talking about is they're making the catch and they're breaking that initial tackle and getting that extra yards after catch.
So 1st down and goal for Glenwood. Coming up from inside the 10, Carlo with Reed on his left hip. They will run it. Reed has a seam, bounces right side. He's into the end zone. Touchdown, Glenwood. Scott Reed finds Pater, and the Rams are on the board first here tonight.
And that's Reed's second touchdown of the year. You would think with as many yards, having 564 yards on the season, he'd have more. But second touchdown of the season for Reed, taking it in from 9 yards out.
So now Aaron Christian will come on for the PAT to try to give this a 7-0 Glenwood advantage. He's 12 of 13 on those so far this year. Ben Carlo is the holder. Ethan Eisman is the long snapper on the point afters. Good snap, good hold, good kick. And it's a 7-zip Glenwood lead after the rushing touchdown by Scott Reed. 11:17 left in the first half from the KMA video stream, KMAland.com.
Wright Sewer and Water is a family-owned business started by Travis Wright with 2 decades of industry experience. Wright Sewer and Water offers a variety of underground utility work which includes, but not limited to, sewer repairs, new septic systems, sewer laterals, commercial site utilities, horizontal boring, water main, water services, and telecommunications. Give us a call at 712...
Definitely a touchdown. Eisman's fast as hell.
Welcome back to the KMA X stream here. John Lee, Trevor Mater on the call.
Yeah, a touchdown moments ago from Scott Reed has put the Rams on the board 7-0, and now they will get ready to kick it away. Aaron Christian kicking it away. And John, if you're the Rams, through a quarter, you like the way you play defense, and you like now that, you're playing from in front. Sergeant Bluff-Lutton going to look for an answer here.
And one of the rare deep kicks here from Christian this year.
I think his foot was in the end zone, but it will be returnable and bringing it up to about the 27-yard line before being brought down. And a little bit of extracurriculars well away from the football. I believe it's going to bring a penalty. It was Justin Ehlers on the return, but there was some blocking 15, 20 yards away from the football that is likely going to result in a penalty, and I believe, judging by the body language on both sides, that it will be on the Sergeant Bluff-Lutton side. And if you're Coach Justin Smith, those are the kinds of penalties you just absolutely do not want to see.
Because, that'll back them up 15, if I'm correct here, depending on what they're going to call.
That's likely some sort of... Oh, they're going to wave it off. Okay. One side's going to not like that. The other side is going to like that. It's early in the game, so, yeah. Sergeant Bluff-Lutton will start this next drive on their own 29-yard line. As the Warriors go to work for the third time tonight offensively.
And you see that they flexed Drake Boothie now out to a standing DN spot here.
Jervik will put a man in motion. They give up the middle. Getting a couple of yards on that one was Hardy. Again, all about the eye candy. On that play, they put Varas in motion right to left, and then it's just a simple dive to Joe Hardy for a couple of yards, gain of 3.
So it looks like what Coach Faust is doing is to throw off that eye candy. You're seeing big Drake Boothie. He's standing up, trying to take away that edge, trying to make it collapse in here and let the rest of the defensive linemen kind of eat up the middle.
Shotgun look now for SBL. They'll run right side Jervik. Jervik got by one defender, and then trying to drag another defender. Will be close to the first down. Forward progress will give it to him. A gain of 8. Nice shifty move by Jervik to make one defender not be the tackler.
Yeah, he jumped. He saw the hole there, and he jumped through it, left the ground, and was able to get a little shifty there and get enough yardage here.
Well, I know he was the numbers might not say so early this year, but last year in a team that reached the state semifinals in Class 3A, he was a big part of their ground game. 1st and 10 now for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton from their own 40-yard line. Out of the flex bone they go. They put Varas in motion. They give to Varas. Varas breaking out of tackles into the open field. First down and more. Brought down from behind.
Hayes Stevens makes the tackle there for the Rams to stop that. If Hayes Stevens did not make that, that's going to be a house call.
He was about to break that for a 60-yard touchdown. Instead, it's a 19-yard run for Beckett Varas. Got thrown into action last week. Had a big game in their win over Thomas Jefferson. 1st and 10 now for the Warriors from the Glenwood 41-yard line. Put Varas in motion again, and this time He runs up the middle for positive yardage to about the 37-yard line, and a gain of 4 for Beckett Varas on first down. And that's what Sergeant Bluff-Lutton wants on first down. They'll take 2nd and 7 all night.
Yeah, Jacob Oust there coming from the nose guard spot to make that tackle, pulling him back from behind.
2nd down coming up for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton. 2nd and 6 from the Glenwood 37-yard line. Promising drive for the Warriors thus far, early stages of the second quarter. We'll go out of a shotgun. Jervik with a running back on his right hip, wanting to throw. Right side caught by Gavin Warren. Nice open field tackle made by Shane Pratt on the far side, but a 3rd and 1 coming up for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton.
Yeah, Pratt was able to stay on the hip there and pull him down, but 3rd and 1 here is where the Warriors thrive.
Yeah, they will take this all night. So 3rd and 1 coming up for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton from the Glenwood 32. Put Hardy in motion. They'll just quarterback sneak at Jervik. I don't know that he got it. He got stood up by Dylan Poles, and they're marking him short.
Yeah, they're marking 4th and 1 here. Dylan Poles just stepped up in the hole there and made the stop.
There was a lot of eye candy there. They put Hardy in motion, and then it was just a quarterback sneak by Jervik, but Dylan Poles read it well, and now a 4th and 1.
8:03 on the clock here, and they're going for it. They're not going to take the points.
Yeah, I mean, 4th and 1, where you're out of the field, you're better off going for it. So they'll work out of the flex bone. They put a man in motion. They toss in the backfield, trying to get right side, and getting just enough for the first down for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton was Emmett Kneifel. Needed 1, got 2, and the drive continues.
Kneifel, that extra, fighting for yards there, was able to get just enough on the edge. Because it looks like, I can't tell who on that side made the initial contact there, but he just kept those feet going and made that extra effort to get them the first down.
So a big 4th down conversion for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton. Now 1st and 10 to the Glenwood 30-yard line. 7.5 to go here in the first half. Put Kneifel in motion. This time they run it up the middle, and that went nowhere.
Be a loss of a yard, they're going to mark it.
Joe Hardy was on the run. There was all kinds of guys in movement, kind of like the old spinner back look. Hardy got the carry and lost about a yard out of that. So a loss of 1 will make it 2nd and 11. Coming up for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton on the Glenwood 31-yard line. 7 minutes to go here in the first half. Jervik with a running back on his left hip. They'll put Hardy in motion. Play fake Jervik wanting to throw right side. A little bit of contact. Pass is incomplete.
Gavin Abbott there with the breakup there.
Yeah, Abbott was guarding the ball on that one as they tried to go to Blake Harsma. A little bit of contact. Look more so like the feet just got tangled up, and it's an incomplete pass and a 3rd and 11 coming up for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton.
Yeah, Jervik had to get rid of it fast. He had Mason Kohler and Taylor both on him within seconds.
So 3rd and 11 coming up for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton from the Glenwood 31-yard line. They'll put a man in motion. They give. It's Varas up the middle, fighting for yardage to the 26-yard line as he runs between the tackles for a gain on 3rd down. And you can tell by the play design there, John, that all Coach Justin Smith was thinking about was let's make this a manageable 4th down, and they get that with 4th and 6 coming up.
And they're leaving the offense out there. Because right now you're looking at about a
43 yards.
Yeah. So big 4th down here. With 6 minutes to go here in the second half. Second quarter, excuse me.
4th and 6 from the Glenwood 26. They'll put Hardy in motion. Play fake. Jervik almost stumbled. Pressure coming. Jervik throws it. Caught by Warren. Gets past the defender. Inside the 10 to the 5. He's into the end zone. Touchdown. Sergeant Bluff-Lutton. The Warriors cash in on 4th down. They don't throw it a lot, but it works there as Isaiah Jervik hits Gavin Warren for the touchdown. A big answer for the Warriors.
Yeah, he broke a couple tackles there, a couple broken tackles, but Jervik, again, had pressure in his face. Lost his footing taking the snap, too, and was able to make the connection there.
So now Sergeant Bluff-Lutton's got a pretty good kicking game of their own. Landon Panowicz will come on for the PAT. 11 of 12 on those bad boys this year. So he'll try to tie this game up at 7. little bit of a high snap. Good hold, though, and Panowicz puts it up and through, and Sergeant Bluff-Luton counters the Glenwood score with one of their own. 7-7 our score. 6 minutes left in the half. KMA video stream.
Count on the ASE certified technicians at Glenwood Collision Repair for your auto body repair needs. From hail damage repairs to complete repairs, we can handle it all with ease. Take a look at some of the photographs on our completed auto body repair projects. We offer a limited lifetime warranty on repairs. Our staff has more than 20 years of experience, so get in touch with us today. 712-527-9000 or stop in and visit with us. 401 South Locust in Glenwood.
And Isaiah Jervik to Gavin Warren touchdown has knotted things up. And John Lee, a big answer for Sergeant Bluff-Luton moments ago.
Yeah, it was a big fourth down. They had to get points there somehow. They left the offense out there and made a big play. Jervik stepped up in front of, big Drake Boothie there. And then the nice Isaiah breaking the tackles there to take to the house. He broke probably two tackles on that to get to the sideline.
So now Sergeant Bluff-Luton will kick it away for the first time tonight. They use a different kicker for their kickoffs. Brody Wager is their kickoff specialist, while Landon Panowicz handles the PATs. This kick will be returnable for Jack Johnson around the 10-yard line. Johnson trying to go left side, cuts it back up the middle, and it'll get gobbled up at around the 25-yard line, and now the Glenwood offense will go to work. And John, through the first two possessions, they've been able to throw the ball for 61 yards in the short passing game.
Yes, so you're seeing that happen, but they also have that weapon behind him, Scotty Reed, who can run the ball. And we've already seen that a couple times tonight with, 32 yards on 6 carries and a touchdown.
So Glenwood with their third possession of the game. Already a fast-moving game. We're halfway through the second quarter. It's our 6th total possession.
And the Rams have been showing a different offense than we normally see.
Empty backfield for Carlo. Now he'll put Johnson in motion. Carlo rolling. Fakes the pass to Johnson. Defender direct on. Dangerous pass. Carlo able just to cut bait and throw it out of bounds. He had big Aiden Dather draped all over him and just had to throw it away.
Yeah, it looks like they were trying to do some misdirection there. He was trying to get Jack or Scotty right there in the slot, but he just was getting not enough time getting pulled down.
So 2nd and 10 now coming up for Glenwood as they'll bring the play in from the sideline. Looks like Reed will be on the left hip of Carlo in the shotgun. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Bobbled snap by Carlo, gives to Reed, running right side. Reed up to about the 35-yard line before being brought down by Beckett for Ross, but a positive gain on 2nd down opens up the playbook on 3rd down now, as it'll be 3rd and short coming up.
About 3rd and 1 here. Scotty just found that edge on the bobbled handoff and was able to get the edge there. So, time of possession is going to come in key here. The Rams will receive probably in the second half.
Yeah, they deferred, so they'll get the choice to start the second half. And if you're Glenwood, you take a nice drive here that ends in points. Sergeant Bluff-Luton trying to get the stand. Reed, first down, lowers the shoulder, still going to around the 50-yard line. Scotty Reed dipped the shoulder and took Gavin Warren for a ride, and then picks up some yardage after that. And a gain of 15 for the Rams on 3rd down, makes it 1st down.
And that's what we've been seeing all year from this young man. He lowers that shoulder. He looks for contact. And the Warriors are going to use the timeout. We'll take one with them and be right back.
Welcome back to Glenwood KMA Video Stream online, KMAland.com. Trevor Mader, John Lee with you tonight. 7-7 our score. 5:03 to go in the first half. Glenwood has the ball, 1st and 10 at midfield was a Sergeant Bluff-Lutton timeout, so the Warriors have just one timeout remaining.
Yeah, I think Coach Faust is going to try to eat up as much clock as he can here before the half, and got to get points on it here.
Here's a run by Carlo as they pulled a guard on the right side. Carlo able to get inside the 40 to the 39. I know when I talked to Ben Carlo a couple weeks ago, he mentioned that, running the football is not something they probably do a lot with him, but it's something that he's capable of doing if needed. They asked him to there, and he picks up 12.
Yeah, he just got behind the blockers, faked the handoff to Scotty, pulled it back. Scotty jumped in, and you had that initial Warrior in the hole there that Scotty took on blocking and opened that up for Ben to hit the hole.
Gain of 12. And they will run it. Reed cuts it up the middle, gets a couple of yards to the 35. Gain of 3 for Scott Reed. 2nd and 7. Coming up for Glenwood to the Sergeant Bluff-Lutton 35-yard line.
And the clock's ticking. This is what is going to play in the favor of the Rams and not Coach Smith of the Warriors.
Yeah, down to 4 minutes to go in the half. So Carlo with Reed on his hip in the shotgun. Quick pass is caught by Eisman. Gavin Warren trying to pluck the football away. Eisman makes the catch, stays in bounds. Gain of about 4 will make it 3rd and short. Coming up for Glenwood in what I imagine is 4-down territory.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised here. And you're seeing the heavy package come in. You're seeing Jacob House come in, and looks like, is that Newberry coming in?
Yeah,
or no, Brody May, the tight end.
So if you're Coach Corey Fosk, you're probably attacking this like, hey, I've got 2 plays to get 3 yards. They're going to go I formation, Carlo under center, Ost and Reed dotting the I, and they will just run it with Ben Carlo, who gets the first down. Needed 3 and got 3.5, and a fresh set of downs for the Rams.
Yeah, and it keeps them on track here, like clock playing in their favor.
Yeah, if you're Glenwood, Sergeant Bluff-Lutton's offense isn't necessarily built to score super fast. So you're trying to milk this clock a little bit, get some points, then you get the football to start the second half, and there's a chance that you give Sergeant Bluff-Lutton the ball back down 2 scores. Again, they'll go out of the eye on first down. Hand off to Jacob Ost, the fullback. Gets a yard or 2. Pyle trying to help him out, but he'll get wrestled down to the turf. Xavier Jones, the man that brings him down. And a second down coming up for Glenwood. 2.5 to go here in the first half. Gain of 2 on that run by Ost. Can't help but feel like Glenwood kind of setting up a short pass at some point.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that, having them stack the box and all of a sudden spread it out.
Here's a handoff. Reed broke by one defender, but couldn't get anything as he tried to bounce it right side. Kneifel makes the tackle. No gain for Glenwood on second down.
So makes that a long third down here.
So 3rd and 8 now coming up for Glenwood. Under 2 minutes to go here in the first half.
But this is also field goal range for the Rams.
Yeah, it'd be a 42-yarder from here if you're Glenwood with Aaron Christian kicking.
He's already had a 44 on the year. And it had room to go, too, on that 44.
Shotgun look, 2 receivers on each side. Carlo back to pass, throwing left side to Crouch. Dangerous ball, he hauls it in.
Between 2 defenders.
That was on a rope from Carlo. Crouch did a good job high-pointing the football. Joe Hardy was there along with Justin Ehlers, but Caden Crouch says, I'll take that. It's a gain of 12 to the 13-yard line. And now if you're Glenwood, you're thinking, hey, maybe in the next 84 seconds I can get a touchdown on the board. We approach 1:15 left in the half.
Yeah, Rams looking to eat up more of this clock here. And like you said, Warriors could possibly not get the ball back with being down 2 scores.
Jet sweep Johnson almost got arm tackled, still fighting, and finally wrestled down around the 11-yard line. That ball was almost stripped away on that arm tackle, but Johnson able to hang on to the football and fight for a couple of extra yards. Under a minute to go in the half. It'll be second down coming up for Glenwood from the Sergeant Bluff-Lutton 12-yard line. So only give them a yard, so a gain of 9 and a timeout on the field with 44 seconds left in the first half. KMA video stream.
The Glenwood Booster Club celebrates the success and hard work of our Glenwood Rams. Being a Glenwood booster means making a difference in the lives of our student athletes both today and into the future. Membership is available at all levels and goes directly to giving the Rams everything they need to succeed. The Glenwood Booster Club is proud to support the live stream and proud to support our Glenwood Rams. Contact us and follow us on Facebook to find out how you can join the Glenwood Booster Club. Go Rams!
Coming out of the timeout, 44.4 seconds to go if you're into tenths of a second. Here in Glenwood, Trevor Mater, John Lee with you tonight. 7-7 our score, Class 4A state-rated matchup. It has been a thriller thus far. Glenwood trying to take a lead into the break. They're facing a second down from the Sergeant Bluff-Lutton 12-yard line. And John, if you're right, the Rams, goal number 1 of this drive is to end it in points. Obviously, you want 7, but you will take 3 if you're them.
Yes, because you're getting the ball to start the second half.
So if you're Glenwood, the last thing you want is some sort of turnover.
So, yeah, protection of the ball. We're luckily fighting off any of the severe weather they were calling for. That's why we had the early kickoff tonight.
So on second down, Carlo with Reed in the shotgun, 2 receivers on each side. They will run it. Reed inside the 10, lowers the shoulder inside the 5, and gets wrestled out of bounds at around the 5. They'll spot it at the 4-yard line. Scott Reed runs like a bull in a china shop. Not super big, but really runs behind his pads.
Yes, he runs looking for contact. We actually like to describe him as old school running, like Mike Allstott. Mm-hmm. He likes to run angry and looking for someone to hit.
Gain of 8, and perhaps most importantly, too, he got out of bounds, so the clock stops. So now if you're Glenwood, you've got 2 timeouts. The playbook is wide open.
And this is where the size of the offensive line is going to come into play. And they're going with Jacob Oss back there at the fullback position.
3rd and short, offset. They give to the fullback, Oss. Oss fighting, will get stood up short of the goal line. Going to be close to a first down. He did, I think, get the first down.
Yeah, enough for the first down they're signaling. So 1st and goal for the Rams.
And the clock will stop while they move the chains.
And it just restarted here.
And Glenwood, I don't know that they know the clock is running. They're kind of taking their time out of the huddle. Down to 20 seconds left in the half. 1st and goal from the 2. They'll keep it with Carlo. He gets stood up. And I'd imagine Glenwood is going to call a timeout, and they do with 14 seconds to go. You've got one more timeout, so you've got a chance to run one more play here.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see some kind of, sweep. We've seen a lot of those down here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them trying to get the ball in the hands of Jack Johnson and give him a little bit of room to see if he can get a couple yards to get in the end zone.
Yeah, so 2nd and goal from the 2-yard line. The down isn't really a factor here because of where you're at on the time. So we'll see, how you attack this if you're Coach Corey Fosk. You've got one play. You can maybe take a shot to the end zone here and then run it on 3rd down, knowing that you have the timeout in your back pocket to stop the clock.
Yeah, that last timeout's going to come in big here with 15 seconds left. They're probably going to come with points one way or another, but you would like the 7, not the 3.
So we'll see what they draw up out of this timeout. Again, 15 seconds to go here in the first half.
And you're sitting at about the 2.5, 3-yard line, it looks like, from here.
So 2nd and goal coming up for the Rams. Out of this timeout. Carlo with Reed on his left hip, and now a timeout taken on the Sergeant Bluff-Lutton side. Let's take a quick one with them. We're on the KMA video stream, KMAland.com.
Thank you for joining us in this local production of your hometown activities. It gives us at Fuller Digital Solutions great pleasure in partnering with you and your community. Over the last year, we've invested more than $300,000 for local streams just like this one, covering more than 1,000 events and more than 1 million views. If you are business interested in sponsoring events like this one, please contact us today. Thank you for watching and helping support your local Fuller Digital Solutions streams.
Welcome back to Glenwood, KMA video stream online, KMAland.com. Trevor Mater, John Lee with you here tonight. 15 seconds to go in the first half of a 7-7 ball game. Glenwood facing a 2nd and goal from the 3. They have 1 timeout left, so they can stop the clock one more time. Ben Carlo, the quarterback for the Rams, will be out of the shotgun. Scott Reed to his left hip. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. A little bit of a bobbled snap. Carlo lost it, got it back. It'll get gobbled up. And that is the kind of play Glenwood did not want to have happen, as Carlo gets dropped for about a 10-yard loss. And they have to burn their timeout. And now you're in a really tough spot here if you're Glenwood, because it's 3rd down, but you don't have any timeouts. So anything in the field of play is going to run the clock out, and you're going to the half with no points. So you can opt for the field goal here, or you take a shot of it. If you don't get it, then you go for the field goal, as we get a timeout on the Sergeant Bluff-Lutton side. On the Glenwood side.
Yes.
Yeah, their final 1.5.
Yeah, Christian's still on the sideline. We haven't seen him get called over. So my guess is they're going to try to take a quick shot to the end zone and then, get Christian out there with just maybe a couple seconds left on 4th down and go for the 3.
Yeah, but again, if you're Glenwood here, the last thing you could have happen is, a sack or another bad snap or anything in the field of play that's going to allow this clock to run out and go into the break at 7-7. So, if you're Coach Foss, maybe you're telling Carlo, hey, if that first look ain't there, just get rid of it. So 3rd and goal coming up for Glenwood from the Sergeant Bluff-Lutton 11-yard line. Carlo with Reed on his left hip. See if SBL brings pressure. Carlo wanting to throw. He's going to try to scramble, and he got spun down for a sack. And that is how the half went. That's the one thing Glenwood couldn't do, and it's the one thing they did. And a promising drive to end the half comes away with 0 points for the Rams. And a thrilling first half in the books with a 7-7 score between these 2 state-rated Class 4A teams. We're back. Halftime coverage. KMA video stream.
At AirServe of Council Bluffs Heating and Air Conditioning Services are our specialty. Our friendly and knowledgeable service professionals are happy to answer any questions you may have and recommend the best service options for you. From tune-ups and maintenance to heater repair and air conditioning replacement, we provide services that keep the air you breathe clean and keep your home or business at the perfect temperature. Call 712-256-4443 or schedule an appointment online at airserve.com/councilbluffs.
Great job, dance team. Best of luck in your competitions coming up this fall. And now, folks, will you please focus your attention to the visible sideline as the high school marching Rams prepare to perform. Credit Glenwood, marching Rams are only a week away from their first competition. The Rams will travel to Sioux City next Saturday, the 27th, to defend their Class 3 title. They are hoping for a good prelim showing to earn a spot in the final where our volleyball and cross-country members will be able to join us and strengthen our chances to place among the 4A bands in the top 5. The Rams are host of the Lowell Hill Field Fest on October 11th. October 18th, they will host the IHSMA State Marching Festival, and later that day they'll travel to Ankeny for the Mid-Iowa Marching Championship in an attempt to bring back another title. The band would also like to thank the friends of the band, the sponsors for all their support in each marching season. Those sponsors are found in your program tonight. We would also like to thank our band parents for many behind-the-scenes things that they do to make our program a success. If you would like more information in supporting the Rams Marching Band, please contact an officer, President Michael Kyle, Vice President Gordon Goldrick, Secretary Aaron Clark, and Treasurer Jessica Lincoln. The Marching Rams are under the direction of David Clark, Paul Hart, Elsa Griffin, Sean Griffin, and Ashley Ellsworth. This year's marching theme is The Pyramids of Egypt by Gary P. Gilroy. Tonight's show will feature Movement 1, Construction, and Movement 2, The Discovery of KV-62, and Movement 3, Walk Like an Egyptian. Drum majors Megan Smith, Kendall Pontiac, and Colton Hastings. Is the marching band ready to perform? Private Rams, the field is yours.
I think so.
It was a bad snap before that puts in a bad position.
As the largest GSI grain bin dealer in the state of Iowa for the past 15 years, CS Agro prides themselves on grain bin builds and service, and offer a complete line of GSI equipment, including grain bins, grain dryers like top dry, tower dryers, and portable dryers, bucket elevators, air systems, conveyors, and chain loop systems. They do everything from concrete to erection, to electrical, and service before, during, and after the sale. Stop in, give them a call, or contact them at csagro.com, your GSI bin dealer in Calumet, Iowa.
All right, welcome back here to the halftime. John Lee, Trevor Mader here on the KMA X stream. What a first half.
Yeah, very entertaining first half. Very high level of football between two of the top teams in Class 4A. Don't know that it's a surprise. We saw, the first drive for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton, they go 3 and out. Glenwood moved the ball a little bit, punts, and Sergeant Bluff-Lutton gets the ball back, can't do anything with it. Glenwood goes down and scores. The big drive to me right now through the first half, John, was Sergeant Bluff-Lutton answering after the Glenwood touchdown. They score on 4th and 4 from Isaiah Jervik to Gavin Warren, and then a missed opportunity moments ago for Glenwood. You have 2nd and goal on your own on the Sergeant Bluff-Lutton 2, and you come away with no points.
Yeah, I mean you gotta come away with points, especially getting the ball in the second half. You want to at least be up 2 scores. If it's a 10-point lead or a 14-point lead, you wanted the 7, but hey, we'll take the 3. But I mean, looking at the first half, Carlos 7 of 9 for 78 yards. Glenwood showing a balanced offense. Reed has 70 yards on 12 carries right now. So, unlike last week where we saw a run heavy from the Rams, we're seeing more of a balanced attack tonight.
Yeah, and then on the Sergeant Bluff-Lutton side, my very, very unofficial stats, Isaiah Jervik, 5 of 7, 57 yards. His primary target has been Gavin Warren, 4 catches, 29 yards. Beckett Varas did have 1 catch for 28 yards. This is a Sergeant Bluff-Lutton offense that's ran for about 340 yards a game. They did have just 57 yards on 15 carries. So for the most part, Glenwood has done a good job bottling up this SBL run-heavy offense. Now, to do it for 24 minutes is obviously not as tough as it will be to do it for 48 minutes. But if you're the Rams, you get the football to start the second half. If you go down, score, and regain the lead, you're once again asking Sergeant Bluff-Lutton to counter, what you just did. So maybe it's cliche, but I really feel like the first possession for each team in the second half is going to be really telling.
Yeah, I mean the Rams have to go down. You got to put some points on the board. You want to get 7 here to start the second half, and you also want to take a lot of time off that clock if you can.
Yeah, so looking forward to seeing how the second half shakes out. 2 of the top 10 teams, KMA Sports Class 4A state rankings. And Class 4, last year was, in my opinion, the most interesting of all the classes because everybody beat up on everybody throughout the year. When it was all said and done, North Polk beat Pella in the state championship game. Well, Cedar Rapids Xavier has looked like the top team in Class 4A through 3 games, but outside of that, 2 through 10, I think, could kind of be the same. Pella, North Polk, they play tonight, by the way. ADM will be in Glenwood's district later this year. You throw Lewis Central in there. Sergeant Bluff-Lutton's ranked number 5. Lewis Central 6. Decora's got a couple of nice wins. They are number 7. Western Dubuque, who has played a really tough schedule, and they played Decorah tonight, by the way. They're number 8. Then Glenwood 9, Clear Creek Amana 10. A very, very fun class of football and a very, very fun matchup we're seeing here tonight.
Yeah, you got a lot of those other games going on. They're just kicking off right now with the early kickoff here in Glenwood. And so, yeah, normally here at halftime, Clint's reading us off. We're checking the KMA land site, getting the scores from around the area. And tonight, a little different. No scores to check. We're the only one really live.
I can tell you that I know East Mills was up big on Sydney. For those of you 8-man enthusiasts out there, that was a 42-8 lead. The Wolverines jumping all over Sydney early in the game. They're playing that down the road, the old Nishna Valley High School on Highway 34. It's a 5 p.m. start. They don't have lights there, so that is why they are playing that
I thought they were playing inside Malvern at the...
Yeah, nope. Well, they're doing some renovations to their field, and it's not ready yet, so they're playing it. It's now called the Southwest Iowa Technical Career Hub, what used to be the old Nishna Valley High School.
For all of us old-timers.
Yes. Well, I'm old enough to remember when it was Nishna Valley. So, Glenwood football to start the second half.
Jack Johnson by himself back there deep to return.
Brody Wager will kick it away.
And we have a 7-0 lead right now with Iowa in Rutgers for those Hawkeye fans.
Yeah, I believe Caden Wheatgen was a kick return touchdown on that to start things. So about ready to get the second half going here in Glenwood. This looks like it'll be a returnable kick for Johnson inside the 5 at the 3. Johnson breaks out of a tackle, still going, brought down at around the 16-yard line, and that'll be where the Glenwood offense goes to work for their first drive of the second half. And like I said, John, every drive is going to be important, but the first drive for each team in the second half of utmost importance, I feel like, in a 7-7 ball game.
Yeah, this is going to be a crucial one here. I mean, starting back deep in your own territory, but it also can play in the Rams' favor by eating up clock.
Yeah, if you get a nice long drive here.
Rams actually showing with an H-back formation now.
They will hand it off Reed. Reed gets a handful of yards on first down to about the 19-yard line. Xavier Jones in there to make the tackle for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton, along with Alex Broderson, but a gain of 2 for Glenwood on first down will make it 2nd down and 8 from the 19-yard line. They'll put a man in motion across the formation, that H-back spot. Here's a run, Reed. Reed trying to find his blocks, gets up past the 20 to the 21-yard line. Broderson again in there on the tackle, and now a 3rd down coming up for the Rams at the 21-yard line. Will be 3rd and 6.
A little thrown off pace here for the Rams with 2 short. Usually they see Scotty break a couple more yards on that, but only 2 yards each carry here. So this is going to be what Coach Faust is going to have to pull in his bag of tricks and see if he can get a first down here.
The short passing game was working for them early. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Reed on the hip of Carlo in the shotgun. Back to throw is Carlo. Pocket collapsing. Carlo throws across the middle. Was almost caught by the referee. He wanted to go over the middle to Caden Crouch, and if the referee wanted to catch that, I think he could have. Now, I don't know which way he would have turned and ran, but it's an incomplete pass and a punt coming up for Glenwood.
Yeah, looks like he was trying to hit Eisman across the middle here, and Eisman just did not get enough depth.
So a less than ideal opening drive for the Rams.
Only taking a minute
15.
Off the clock.
So Jose Diaz will now punt it away. End over end punt by Diaz. Fair caught by Warren at the 44-yard line. Sergeant Bluff-Lutton going to have good field position for their first drive of the second half.
Yeah, this is where the Rams defense has got to step up here. Warriors got pretty good field position, right? Probably the best field position of the night. Is. So the Rams defense has got to keep stepping up big here and see if they can do a 3-and-out here in return.
So Sergeant Bluff-Lutton will take over best field position of the night, and a team that has ran the ball a lot this year. Their success has come in the passing game so far tonight. Jervik under center in that flex mode. They'll give it to Hardy off the edge. Hardy broke out a one tackle and now trying to carry a defender, and the Ram pile will eventually meet him and bring him down. But a couple of hard-earned yards by Joe Hardy. Gain of 2 will make it 2nd and 8.
Yeah, it's a generous 2 spot on that one, I'll give him. But Dylan Poles came in, read him, and just met him in the hole here, but he just kept those feet going and was able to get 2 yards on that one.
So a gain of 2 makes it 2nd and 8 from the 46-yard line. For Sergeant Bluff-Lutton, 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. 7-7 our score. Jervik will put Hardy in motion. They give to Varas, and fighting forward for a couple of yards is Varas.
Yeah, he was able
48.
He was able to get that hole and just fall forward for 2. It was the whole collapse there with a slew of Rams waiting for him.
And there was all kinds of eye candy on that one. I just like saying the word eye candy. Third and 7 coming up. Maybe it's never been called eye candy. 3rd and 7 coming up for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton from their own 48-yard line.
Yet. The night is young.
I don't think that's happening. 9.5 to go here in the third quarter. Jervik will work out of a shotgun, puts Varas on his left hip. Actually, it's not Varas, that's Kneifel. All kinds of movement with the SBL receivers. Now they'll put Varas in motion. Play fake. Jervik wanting to throw. Pressure coming. Got hit as he threw. Dangerous pass is incomplete. He had Drake Boothie breathing down his neck. And Jervik throws it away, and it's an incomplete pass and a 4th down coming up.
That was a business decision he had to make there with 6'6" Drake Boothie breathing down him, that junior coming in there. Getting a lot of attention right now from schools, the young man. But
and plays like that or what?
And he's showing why.
So now on to punt will be Gavin Merrill for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton. So the Glenwood defense does their part. They bow their neck and get the stop.
And they only took 1:40 off the clock.
Now, there's still a lot of ball game left to be played here in Glenwood tonight. A little low snap. Merrill gets to it. Nice punt. Johnson backing up and will be wise just to let it roll. But it takes a nice roll on the Glenwood turf before being down to the 3-yard line.
Yeah, it took a Warriors bounce there on that one.
So now Glenwood is going to have to go 97 yards on this drive.
And if you're the Warriors, you don't want the Rams going 97 yards on that because that's going to eat up a lot of clock there.
But if you're Sergeant Bluff-Lutton, if you get a stop here, you're definitely once again flipping the field position in your favor. So a stalemate on each team's first drive of the second half, and now the Rams from the shadow of their own end zone. And Carlo will actually take the snap from about 4 yards in his end zone. Carlo, quick pass over the middle. Wow. Dangerous pass. Want to go to Crouch. Joe Hardy read it. He immediately backed up, made a double coverage, and got a hand on it. And it's 2nd down after the incomplete pass.
He was trying to go back to that same route that he ran earlier to get him in the red zone that he ran to Crouch there between the 2 defenders, where Crouch is just trying to find that soft spot right between them. But like you said, he read that perfectly and took a step back and got a hand up.
So now 2nd and 10 coming up for Glenwood. They will run it. Johnson just got out of the end zone and then took a lick as well. But it'll be a loss of about a yard, but that was almost a safety.
Yeah, Johnson saw that he was running out of room there and dove out of the end zone.
Yeah, he just wanted to make sure he got out of the end zone. Actually, they give him a generous spot to the 2-yard line. I did a game last week, 8-player action, Woodbine, Fremont Mills. There were 3 safeties in that game. I've never seen anything like it. Glenwood trying to avoid one of them here. 3rd and 11 from their own 3-yard line. 8:20 to go here in the third quarter. Carlo with Reed on his right hip in the shotgun. 2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Back to throw is Carlo. Downfield to Crow. Actually, no, we'll go left side. Johnson, a little bit of contact. It was an underthrown ball, so they play through the contact. And it's an incomplete pass and a 3-and-out for Glenwood. They can't do anything. Can't move. They only move the ball from the 3-yard line. And now they lose a yard. Now Jose Diaz will have to punt from deep in his own end zone.
Yeah, not the placement where you want to throw that one.
No.
He was throwing it on the end. He needed to throw it on his back shoulder to get that placement there. Jack had a step on the receiver, but he had to come back to the ball.
So Jose Diaz will punt it away. Gavin Warren stands at around the 40-yard line for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton. A little bit of a high snap. Diaz gets it away, not a deep punt. And that goes out of bounds on the Glenwood sideline. We'll see where they officially spot it, but it's going to be inside the 25.
Yeah, it looks like
right at the 25.
It did not come off his foot very well.
So Sergeant Bluff-Lutton going to have good field position to start this drive. So they'll take over on the Glenwood 25-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Warriors, 7:59 to go here in the third quarter of a 7-7 ball game. 2 of the top 10 teams in Class 4A going at it tonight, and it's been a heavyweight fight up to this point.
Yeah, it's been back and forth here. They've just been, blows for blow here.
So out of the flex bone will go the Warriors. Jervik under center puts Hardy in motion. Wanting to throw is Jervik to Warren, right side. Overthrew him by just a step, and it's an incomplete pass to make it 2nd down. I find it interesting, John. We were talking, you and myself and Clint were talking before the game. This feels like it could be a shootout, 49-35 type game. That has not been the case through the first 2.5 quarters.
Yeah, we thought it could be a shootout. We thought it also could be a heavyweight bout like it is right now, where they're going shot for shot with each other.
2nd down coming up for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton after the incomplete pass. Jervik again under center. They'll put Hardy in motion. Toss to Hardy as Jervik was falling down. Hardy fighting for yardage inside the 20. Carries the defender a couple of yards to the 18-yard line. I'll make it 3rd and manageable. Jervik was losing his footing and able to toss it to Hardy just in time to make that a positive gain for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton.
Yeah, it looks like Taylor shot in on the center there. Jervik lost his footing, but just quick enough to get it to Harding there.
3rd and 3 from the 18. I'd imagine this is 4-down territory if you're the Warriors, assuming you don't lose any yardage here. Again, out of the flex bone, Jervik puts Varas in motion. They give to Varas. He's got the 1st down inside the 15. Squirms free and he's into the end zone. Touchdown. Sergeant Bluff-Lutton. Somehow, Beckett Varas squirmed through the pile, and he finds the end zone for the first time tonight. And the Warriors take their first lead of the night on the touchdown run.
Yeah, it looked like Dylan Poles was jumping in there and then got blocked. One of the linemen came in there and just pulled at the right minute and got him out of the way there for him, and he was able to cut through.
Landon Panowicz on for the PAT now after the touchdown run by Beckett Varas. Panowicz made his first one tonight. The second one is good as well. So Sergeant Bluff-Lutton gets the first points of the second half. 7:07 left in the third. 14-7 SBL KMA video stream.
At AirServe of Council Bluffs Heating and Air Conditioning Services are our specialty. Our friendly and knowledgeable service professionals are happy to answer any questions you may have and recommend the best service options for you. From tune-ups and maintenance to heater repair and air conditioning replacement, we provide services that keep the air you breathe clean and keep your home or business at the perfect temperature. Call 712-256-4443 or schedule an appointment online at airserve.com/councilbluffs.
A Beckett Varas 18-yard touchdown has given Sergeant Bluff-Lutton a 14-7 lead with 7:07 left in the third quarter. And John Lee, the first 5 minutes of this half, still a lot of football left to be played, but the first 5 minutes of this half have gone exactly the way Sergeant Bluff-Lutton desired.
Yeah, I mean, special team, bad mistakes are happening here for the Rams. We've seen it all year coming from these guys. We had a bad snap here to end the first half from the Rams. Then a bad punt here gave the Warriors really good field position to start things out.
Coaches so often talk about like the middle 10, right? The last 5 minutes of the first half, first 5 minutes of the second half is being very crucial, and those have gone Sergeant Bluff-Lutton's way up to this point. So this will be a returnable kick for Johnson inside the 5, catches it at the 2. Johnson gets stood up at around the 20 and wrestled out of bounds, and that'll be where Glenwood's next drive begins.
So, yeah, the Rams have to answer back here. They got to get some kind of points this drive here. You can't let these Warriors get a 2-score lead on you, because then they're just going to run the clock.
They control the narrative. If they're able to go up 2 scores, the way they play is conducive to being able to control things once they get up. So Big drive for Glenwood. It starts on their own 20-yard line. Ben Carlo in the shotgun. Scott Reed on his right hip. 2 receivers to each side. They will hand off Reed. Reed, that hole closed up quickly. Got maybe a yard. It looked like there was stuff there for like a 5-yard gain, and all of a sudden there wasn't.
Yeah, it looks like the Warriors were just able to fill in quick enough where, like you said, it looked like he was going to have enough room to break at least 5 yards, but then a couple Warriors stepped in the hole there.
2nd and 9 for Glenwood from their own 21. 6.5 to go here in the third quarter. Carlo looks like maybe designed quarterback run. Carlo spins out of a tackle and falls forward to the 27-yard line. 3rd and manageable coming up for Glenwood. After a gain of 6 by the quarterback, Ben Carlo, on the designed quarterback run.
Yeah, and that's what you like to see is him getting a couple big yards like that, because it looks like they're keen on stopping Scott from running here, which is taking away a good dynamic in this offense.
So 3rd and short. Trips left, 1 to the right, shotgun look. They will run it Reed. Reed trying to bounce it close to the first down. It's going to depend on the spot. It looks like from the official on our side, he's about a half-yard shy.
Yeah.
And he is, maybe even a full yard.
Looks like close to a yard, full yard.
And the offense staying on the field for Glenwood. They're going to go for it, 4th and 1, or at least they're acting like they're going to go for it. On their own 29, Carlo takes the snap, quarterback sneak. I think he got it.
Yeah, he got some help there. He got pushed from behind. That second effort here.
So a somewhat gutsy call by Corey Foss to go for it in their own territory. Now, Sergeant Bluff-Lutton side is trying to say that he was short, but it looked like from the spot he did get it.
Yeah, the line judge coming in spotted it very well right away. Because you can see from our side that that second effort did get him over what he needed.
So a first down for Glenwood. They've got it on their own 30 now with a fresh set of downs. Carlo in the shotgun. Play fake. Pass. Left side. Crouch over the middle. Nice catch on the slant.
And it's going to be close to see where they mark him. That's enough for Rams' first down.
Caden Crouch did a good job extending out to catch that and give him a gain of 11. And another first down for Glenwood at their own 41-yard line.
Yeah, the quick slant there didn't have the defenders there for the Warriors didn't even have enough time to react as quick as that came out.
So fresh set of downs for Glenwood. 4:35 to go here in the third quarter. 14-7 in favor of Sergeant Bluff-Lutton. Carlo with Reed on his right hip in the shotgun. 3 receivers to the right. Run Reed. Reed to the 45 before being brought down. So a gain of 4 and a second and manageable coming up for this Glenwood offense.
It looks like they're getting back into rhythm here where we saw them earlier in the second quarter on offense getting things going.
2nd down and 6 from the 45-yard line. Trips left, 1 to the right, shotgun for Carlo with Reed on his right hip. They will keep it with Carlo, and he got stonewalled. I don't know if that was like a read option, but if it was, that was the wrong read for the Glenwood offense. Carlo met a group of, I was trying to find a good word there, but what's called a group of Warriors, and gets stood up for a loss of 1, actually. So 3rd and 7 coming up.
We're down to 3.5 minutes here in the third quarter.
A very fast-moving third quarter. 3rd and 7 for Glenwood from their own 44-yard line. Carlo with Reed on his right hip. Carlo wanting to throw, looking left, keeps his eyes downfield, throws across his body, had a defender draped all over him, did Crouch, couldn't haul it in. He was covered well by Aiden Konopasek.
It looks like he was looking for Eisman over here on the other side and couldn't see him. And so that's why he took and run. And, yeah, Crouch had trying to make a one-handed catch there and just couldn't pull it in with the defender draped all over him.
So now Jose Diaz will punt it away for Glenwood. Much more favorable chance for him versus, punting it from your own end zone. 3:09 to go here in the third. Diaz calling for the punt. End-over-end punt will roll along the sideline and go out of bounds, and we'll see where they spot it. It will be at the 35-yard line. So that will be where Sergeant Bluff-Lutton begins this next drive.
Now, to see if the Rams defense has made some adjustments here and see if they can get things. They got to make a stop here. You can't let these Warriors get 2 scores up. Because like I said, they'll control the clock. If they get 2 scores up, they're going to just run it out and control the narrative.
3:03 to go here in the third quarter. Sergeant Bluff-Lutton working out of that flex bone. Jervik under center. They put Kneifel in motion. Jervik back to pass. Will swing it out to Kneifel just out of his reach. It's an incomplete pass to make it second down.
Seeing a lot more passing from him than he's probably done all season.
Yeah, I think they'd only thrown 23 times coming into tonight. So, an average of about 8 per game. And that was the 10th pass of the night from quarterback Isaiah Jervik. So, a little above their average.
Closer game.
2nd and 10 for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton. They put Hardy in motion. They give to Varas on the misdirection, and Varas got maybe a yard or so out of that.
Looks like they're marking back at the line of scrimmage.
So 3rd and long coming up for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton now. The spot they don't necessarily want to be in with the way they like to run the football. So now we'll see what they do on 3rd down. If you're Glenwood, a chance to get off the field with 2:25 to go here in the third quarter. They'll put Varas in motion. Jervik will keep it. Jervik gets some yardage, but not enough for the first down. Not close to the 39-yard line.
So 4th and 6 here for the Warriors on that quarterback keeper.
Man, a play like that, you almost hate to bring the punter out after that, but where you're at on the field, 4th and 6, up 7. On your own 39, it's probably the right call to punt it away, which they will with Gavin Merrill. Jack Johnson back to return for Glenwood. Under 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter. High snap, Merrill tracks it down. Johnson signals fair catch for the punt, catches it at the 28-yard line, and that'll be where the Rams offense goes to work. And John, we saw on the last drive, Glenwood started to find a little bit of rhythm, and then one bad play on 2nd down threw the rest of that possession off kilter.
I'm hoping that's what we see gets the Rams offense warmed up. Hopefully we can see something happen more here with getting some points on the board here. With 1:42 left in the third quarter, not a lot of time.
You figure in theory you've probably got 3 possessions left if you're lucky.
Yes.
Jet sweep to Johnson. Johnson trying to follow his block. Gets up past the 30 to the 31-yard line. So a positive gain on 1st down.
So about a 4-yard gain there, it looks like. They're marking it.
To the 32-yard line.
So it keeps them on track here. But, I mean, you still want to get 2-3 yards here on this next one to keep things going.
Yeah, so 2nd and 6 from the 32. They'll put Eisman in motion. Carlo wanting to throw, rolling left, throws across his body. Crouch makes the catch, has the first down. You always hold your breath a little bit when you see a quarterback throw across his body, but Crouch was there over the middle like he's been a handful of times tonight. It's a gain of 8 for a first down.
So, yeah, it looked like his first read wasn't there. And then Crouch saw it and started cutting across the middle here to give him something. And Crouch catches that. He usually will break 1 or 2 tackles and get enough.
So a first down for Glenwood at the 40-yard line. And through the gain of 8 from Crouch from Carlo to Crouch. Now here's a run by Scott Reed that goes nowhere. Sergeant Bluff-Lutton was all over that. Dropped for a 3-yard loss. And credit to SBL, John. They've came out in the second half and been able to sniff out the run game. Alex Broderson made the tackle there.
Yeah, they're throwing Glenwood off their game. Because like we've seen these last couple weeks, Scotty's been heavy on the offense, with the yards and the carries. But now they're putting it in Ben's hands and forcing him to make the plays there. So it looks like that's going to be it. We're going to head.
That's how the quarter will end. So we'll go to the fourth. It is a 14-7 Sergeant Bluff-Lutton lead. KMA video stream, KMAland.com.
Welcome to Waldstein Plumbing, where quality craftsmanship meets exceptional service. Proudly serving Council Bluffs and surrounding areas. Let the experts at Waldstein Plumbing help you keep your drains flowing. From drain cleaning to fixture upgrades to pipe repairs and more, we'll be able to solve whatever plumbing problem you might have. We are available 24/7 for any plumbing emergency. Expert plumbers you can trust. Call 712-308-1500 for service today. Visit our website, waldsteinplumbing.com.
I'm not. Welcome back to Glenwood KMA video stream online, KMAland.com. Trevor Mader, John Lee with you here tonight. We go to the fourth, 14-7. Sergeant Bluff-Lutton leading Glenwood. Glenwood with the football, facing a 2nd and 12 from their own 38-yard line. And on 2nd down, here's a quarterback run for positive yardage.
Makes about 3rd and 9 here. About.
There's Hayes Stevens on the run.
Yes.
Glenwood a couple different times this year has used Stevens in a quarterback role.
Yeah, you'll see Stevens come in there and do the, they can run him like a Wildcat, but there was a nice quarterback battle this summer between Carlo and Stevens. So both guys have seen reps with the first team.
3rd and 9 now coming up for Glenwood on their own 41, 11:25 to go in this one.
Still Hayes.
Stevens still the quarterback for the Rams. Trips left, one to the right. Reed on the hip of Stevens in the shotgun, and Glenwood trying to get a timeout offensively. And Coach Foss was running up and down the sideline trying to get the attention of the official, and he finally gets it. So we'll take one with him. 11:11 to go in the fourth. 14-7, Sergeant Bluff-Lutton, KMA video stream.
Affordable Asphalt LLC is a trusted, family-owned asphalt company based in Glenwood, Iowa, serving homeowners and businesses across southwest Iowa and southeast Nebraska, including Council Bluffs and Omaha. With over 25 years of experience, we specialize in high-quality paving, repairs, and seal coating to keep your driveways, parking lots, and private roads looking sharp. Ready to get started? Contact us today for a free estimate. AffordableAsphaltLLC.com.
Welcome back to Glenwood KMA video stream online, KMAland.com. Trevor Mader, John Lee with you tonight. 14-7 in favor of Sergeant Bluff-Lutton. 11:11 to go here in the fourth quarter. Glenwood facing a 3rd and 9.
It looks like Carlos checking back in at quarterback here for the Rams, as we did see Hayes Stevens in there in the last 2 plays.
So Ben Carlo back in at quarterback. Trips left, one to the right. Passing down for the Rams. Carlo rolling left. Pressure coming. He gets thrown down from behind. Kneifel was there to sack him. And it's a loss of 11 on 3rd down. And the punting team coming on for Glenwood after a big stand for the Sergeant Bluff-Lutton defense.
Not what you want to see if you're the Rams here, because you're down to under 11 minutes here in the game.
And if you're Sergeant Bluff-Lutton, you've got a chance to, if you get the ball back here and you score, I don't know that it would quite be the dagger, but with under 10 minutes to go, you'd be up 2 scores. You'd be sitting pretty. Jose Diaz to punt it away. Nice end over end punt by him. Warren will let it roll, and it'll take a Rams roll inside the 30, out of bounds, right at the 30. And that will be where Sergeant Bluff-Lutton begins their next drive.
A lot better punt there from Diaz here, because you saw him after that last 2 punts. He was on the sideline working on his release on it. Looks like he may have been causing an issue for him. I'm glad to see the young man get that fixed.
So Sergeant Bluff-Lutton will take over on their own 30-yard line. 10:26 to go here in this one. It's been a rock fight here tonight. Warriors took advantage of good field position early in the third and scored to take the lead. Now they're trying to grow their lead. They will run it with Jervik. Jervik up to the 35-yard line, 36. Gain of 6 on first down. We'll make it 2nd and 4 coming up for the Warriors, who would love a nice 6 or 7 minute drive that ends in points. That would be just what the doctor ordered for Coach Justin Smith.
Yeah, but I mean, the one thing you got to see, the Rams like turnovers. So
yes. And if you're Glenwood, that would be what the doctor ordered, would be a turnover.
Yes. We haven't seen any of those tonight for the Rams defense.
Barras gets it on the left side and gets spun down for no gain. That was sniffed out well by the Glenwood defense.
But still, he's 3rd and manageable here for Coach Smith in this offense.
And no gain. Gavin Abbott, by the way, was the man that made the tackle on the far side. 3rd and 4 coming up for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton. Under 10 minutes to go in this one.
Big 3rd down here in Glenwood for this one.
Work out of the flex mode. Hardy in motion. Jervik back to pass. Rolling right. Wanting to set his feet. Pressure coming. He gets spun down. Drake Boothie was there for the sack. And it's the Glenwood stand.
7-7. And Jervik's been running at him all night, and it hasn't paid off for him. Big sack there from Boothie.
Turns into what'll be a 9-yard loss. And most importantly, if you're Glenwood, a 4th down to get the football back with 9 minutes to go.
Boothie right now coming into tonight was 2nd and 4A in sacks with 3.5, well, now 4.5.
Now the punt coming from Gavin Merrill. High punt, not necessarily deep. It will take a hop and be downed at around the 48-yard line. So Glenwood's going to have relatively good field position right around midfield with 8.5 to go in this one. And John, if you're Glenwood, this is your opportunity right here.
Yeah, you got to put it in the end zone here. You have 8:30 left on the clock. You got to find a way to get it in the end zone. This offensive line, we've been talking about all year, they've got to hold some blocks and get something open for Scotty or give Ben some time back there.
Yeah, the ground game has been non-existent for Glenwood here in the second half. Carlo, rollout throw, caught by Crouch. Oh, Crouch couldn't quite. No, he did catch it along the sideline. He tried to turn up field, and they said he was out of bounds. There was all kinds of bodies on the Glenwood sideline obstructing our view, but he makes the catch and a gain of 7 into SBL territory.
Yeah, nice comeback there on Crouch. He saw Ben didn't have any time back there in the pocket scrambling around. Caden came back, showed him his number, and got it right on.
2nd and 3 now for Glenwood. Carlo with 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Reed on his hip in the shotgun. 8.5 to go. Now they'll flank Reed out. Carlo throws it back on the right side near the first down marker. Coming up with that catch, Miles Longmire making his first snag of the night. Depending on the spot, that might be a first down. The far side official is going to give it to him.
Yep, he's marking it for a first down. Yeah, Longmire came back off his route and made that catch and just got enough.
Fresh set of downs for the Rams. 8:10 to go in this game. They've got on the Sergeant Bluff-Lutton 42-yard line. What a fun game this has been tonight.
Yeah, Coach Smith was kind of asking the line judge over on that backside if it was really where he was marking it. So it's kind of holding up the chain gang from moving.
Fresh set of downs for Glenwood. Carlo with Reed on his left hip, 2 receivers to each side out of the shotgun. Carlo wanting to throw, scrambling left, and throws across the middle of the field, incomplete. He might have been hit as he threw. Aiden Dather was in there. Carlo didn't really get a chance to set his feet and step into the throw, and it was well off target, and it will be second down.
Yeah, it looks like the Warriors were taking advantage here. Boothie was taking a break on the sideline, getting a breather. He's normally the right tackle there.
So now Glenwood will bring the play in. 7:56 to go in this game. 14-7 advantage Sergeant Bluff-Lutton. Carlo with Reed on his left hip, trips left, 1 to the right. He'll put Reed in motion on the right side. Back to throw is Carlo. Pass over middle, caught by Crouch. Tries to extend for extra yardage out of the tackle of Aiden Konopasek. And he gets maybe an extra yard out of that to the 37-yard line. So a gain of 5 will make it 3rd and 5 for Glenwood from the Sergeant Bluff-Lutton 37-yard line.
The Warriors, once they saw Scott go in motion there, they did turn on the blitz, and Ben had no time sitting back there in that pocket at all.
3rd down and 5 for the Rams. This really feels like a 2-down chance for them. They will run it with Reed. Reed close to the 1st down, going to depend on the spot. He was spun down right near the line by Beckett Varas, and I think they're going to mark him about a yard shy.
Yeah, it looks like 4th and 1 here.
And if there was any doubt about what they were going to do on 4th down prior to that play, I don't think there is now. And it actually ended up being more like a 4th and 2.
Yeah.
So 4th and 2, quarterback keeper, and the pile will push Carlo forward for a 1st down. There is no rule against that.
Yeah, there's basically the version of the tush push right there.
You can push the pile. You are not allowed to push the runner per se, like picking him up and moving him. But you can push the pile, except that the difference between this and the tush push was they did line up legally.
Yes.
There did Glenwood versus what you usually see with the tush push. So a gain of 4 on that. And Glenwood now at the Sergeant Bluff-Lutton 30-yard line, 6.5 to go. Carlo with Reed on his right hip. Back to pass is Carlo, rolling right, cutting back left, keeping his eyes downfield, throws across his body. Was it caught? No, incomplete over the middle. That was a dangerous throw by Ben Carlo trying to go to Graham Newberry. It's an incomplete pass, and 2nd down coming up for the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, he was going back and forth there. He's not getting a lot enough time in the pocket to look for his first choice. So he's got to find some other ways. These deep routes aren't working for the Rams, it seems like right now. So if they're going to try passing, they got to do something short.
So 2nd and 10 now for Glenwood. 6:21 to go in this game. 14-7 in favor of Sergeant Bluff-Lutton. They'll have an H-back on the left side. Carlo will run it. Reed trying to bounce it outside. Cuts upfield 20, 15, 10. Inside the 10 before being brought down. And there's the big play they were wanting from Scott Reed. A gain of 22 has got him inside the 10.
That hesitation by Scott waiting for the play to develop there on that right side is what helped him. He was waiting for his blockers to get there. He saw the opening and attacked.
I said gain of 22. I shorted him a yard. Gain of 23. To the 7-yard line with 6 minutes to go in this game. Glenwood knocking on the doorstep of tying this, pending a touchdown at PAT. They had a goal-to-go situation at the end of the first half, net 0 points. That's the difference right now. Carlo with Reed on his left hip. They do a little misdirection. Toss to Eisman. He gets wrapped up. Joe Hardy was all over that on the end around, and Jack Johnson gets spun down.
Ethan Eisman.
Ethan Eisman, gets spun down for an 8-yard loss.
Yeah, they were trying a little trickery there with a little behind-the-back flip to Eisman there.
Man, I just don't know if that's the place that I go to that.
Yes, I agree with you on that. I mean, you're running it down there with Reed, and then try some trickery there, and you lose.
Yeah, now you go from 1st and goal at the 7 with momentum after a big run to 2nd and goal at the 15, which is what the Rams are in now. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Carlo out of the shotgun, wanting to throw left side to Crouch, and jump ball juggled and incomplete. Crouch was one-on-one with Justin Ehlers.
You had the matchup you wanted right there. One-on-one with Crouch, but just couldn't get to it.
So now at 3rd and goal from the 15, depending on what happens here, you might be, not that it would be my preference if you're the Rams, but you might be playing for the points and a stop.
Yeah, I think you might be seeing Christian come out and put 3 on the board at least.
But it all depends on what happens here on 3rd down. 3rd and goal from the 15. They'll flank Reed out. They throw it out of the backfield. Reed, he makes the catch, gets by one defender, but goes out of bounds at the 12. So you've either got a 29-yard field goal coming up from Aaron Christian or a 4th and goal from the 12, and they're going to bring the field goal team out.
So defense has been making stops when there is plenty of yardage. So get the 3 points here, and let's see if your defense can make another stop.
So Aaron Christian will kick a 29-yard field goal. Ben Carlo to hold. Ethan Eisman to snap to make this a 4-point game. A little bit of a low snap. Christian gets it down, and he puts it up and through. So the Rams get points out of this drive, but they're going to need a stop and a score in the final 5 minutes and 6 seconds. We're back with the finish. KMA video stream.
A-Strope Insurance Services has been serving the residents of Mills County since 1946. A-Strope agents take the time to listen, understand, and customize an insurance plan with you to cover all your needs. As an independent insurance agency, you can feel comfortable knowing you got the best rates. From protecting your passions to securing your future, A-Strope has you covered. Choose A-Strope Insurance Services, where tailor-made protection meets peace of mind.
And Aaron Christian field goal has cut this to a 14-10 Sergeant Bluff-Lutton lead.
With 5:06 on the clock here in the game.
So if you're Sergeant Bluff-Lutton, the message is let's get some first downs and really tighten the screws on Glenwood. If you're Glenwood, it's simple. You need to stop and then go down the field and get a score in the next 5 minutes. They only have 2 timeouts. They had to burn a timeout on that possession. So, in theory, 3 or 4 first downs could make this really tough for the Rams. This will be into the end zone for a touchback. And Sergeant Bluff-Lutton, who actually, they haven't moved the ball super great tonight. They had the one drive, they did move it down the field and score on 4th down after the Rams had scored. But then the other touchdown came courtesy of Glenwood was pinned back. They had a punt from their own end zone. It wasn't a great punt. They took over on the 25, and they were able to score. So if you're Coach Corey Foss, maybe in a way, you're saying, hey, I've trusted, my defense played really well tonight. I'm going to trust them to get this stop and to get the ball back.
Yeah, after that series, Reed's 20 carries and 104 yards on the ground.
So Sergeant Bluff-Lutton will take over on their own 20. 5:06 to go. They put Varas in motion. Jervik keeps it and gets about a yard before he's met by Drake Boothie. Yep. And Drake Boothie is a state qualifying wrestler, so when you tie up with him, you're probably not going to go very far. He does turn that into about a 2-yard gain, though, does Jervik. And it's 2nd down and 8 coming up for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton as we are under 5 minutes to go in this one.
Yeah, he made that corner, and Boothie was just right there waiting for him.
So 2nd down and 8. Sergeant Bluff-Lutton trying to milk the clock and notch a state-rated Class 4A win. Glenwood hoping to get a stop and get one more shot. They'll go out of a shotgun. Jervik puts Hardy in motion. Jervik back to pass. Pressure coming. He's going to tuck it and run. And close to the first down. A couple yards shy, it looks like.
Hard to tell from here. No,
they're moving the chains.
Yeah, they're moving the chains. They're giving it
I thought he was about a yard shy, but Jervik did a good job fighting along the sideline.
Yeah, it looked like from up here he was short, but it looks like they're going to give him a generous spot. It looks like he may have paused before he stepped out of bounds and stepped forward.
Fresh set of downs for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton. He did go out of bounds. So the clock stops, but now if you're Glenwood, you got to contemplate when you want to use those timeouts. 4:13 to go. I don't know that Sergeant Bluff-Lutton was totally aware the clock was stopped. They're running the play clock all the way down, and they'll take a timeout. We'll take one with them. Sergeant Bluff-Lutton trying to ice this. Glenwood trying to get a stop. Back in a moment. KMA.
At Best Finish Auto Sales LLC, we are proud of the quality used cars we sell and our dedication to serve the needs of our customers. We have a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles and finance options. At Best Finish Auto, you'll find a wide variety of automotive services offered. Our team of expert mechanics is here to handle all your auto repair needs. From oil changes to major repairs, we do it all. Visit us at 209 Sharp Street, Glenwood, or online at bestfinishglenwood.com.
Welcome back to Glenwood. KMA video stream online, KMAland.com. Trevor Mader, John Lee with you. What a game we've had here tonight. Class 4A state-rated battle. Sergeant Bluff-Lutton leading Glenwood 14-10. 4:13 to go in this game. Sergeant Bluff-Lutton with the football, fresh set of downs at their own 30-yard line.
But they had to burn the one timeout, which could hurt them if the Rams make a stop here. Could hurt them here in these final minutes.
Yeah, if you're Glenwood, you got to get a stop. And I would say get the ball back, with somewhere between 90 seconds and 2 minutes would be preferred.
Spot, yeah.
Obviously, I mean, you would take like 4 minutes and 5 seconds if you get it, but it's going to be easier said than done. And if you're Sergeant Bluff-Lutton, a couple more first downs could really make this tough. So 1st down and 10 at the 30. Out of the flex bone go the Warriors. Here's a toss, Beckett-Varas, and gets about 5 yards to the 35. So a gain of 5 will make it a second and manageable as we get to 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, he just got behind that line and it was a mass of bodies there that he was able to follow to get that 5 yards.
Varas, 10 carries, 54 yards tonight. Nobody offensively for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton has stood out. I mean, Varas is their leading rusher with 54 yards. Jervik has thrown for 57. They've just grinded their way.
Yeah, the short field position really helped them.
So now 2nd and 5. They will put Varas in motion. Hand off Varas. He's got the first down. Up to the 43-yard line. So a gain of 8, and I wonder if they won't start feeding him as the clock becomes Glenwood's enemy.
It does right here. We're at 3:20 to go. Yeah, Jacob House just missed him. They're trying to meet him in the backfield, but he was able to make that cut and get up there for a first down. He was getting close, trying to celebrate there for the first down, saw the referee and pulled it back real quick.
Glenwood's got 2 timeouts left. You're probably using your timeouts on this 10-yard possession.
Yes, I would agree with you on that one because you got the 2 minutes.
You got 2:50 left. They'll put Varas in motion. Guess what? They give him the football again. He cuts up field, squirms free for extra yardage, almost broke it. And a positive gain for Beckett-Varas into Glenwood territory at the 49-yard line, and we will see that first timeout taken by Coach Corey Fost. And one more first down could seal it for Sergeant Bluff-Lutton.
Yeah, so the Rams defense has got to get a couple stops here and force a 4th down here.
Yeah, and with Sergeant Bluff-Lutton, they are totally fine in 2nd and 2 because you're saying, hey, we've got at least 2 plays to get 3 yards, and depending how gutsy we're feeling, maybe 3. So I'd imagine you're going to see another healthy dose of Beckett-Varas.
Yeah, I mean, he's had 2 really good back-to-back runs here to give them some more, breathing room and put them in good position here with only 2:43 on the clock.
Sergeant Bluff-Lutton has ran the ball tonight 29 times for 118 yards. That's just over 4 yards per carry. This is a team that was averaging about 10 yards a haul coming into tonight. So if you're Coach Corey Fost, if you'd have said, hey, we're going to hold them to around 4 yards a carry, you'd take it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big call to stop this run game. It's just, a couple bad plays is the difference here in this game.
Scoreboard is still showing 2 timeouts for Glenwood, but they took one earlier in the half, and I believe that was theirs a moment ago. 2nd down and 2. They hand it off up the middle and getting the first down and spinning past it. The ball came out. There's a scramble for the football. Glenwood thinks they have it, and they do.
Wow. I've been telling you all night, the turnovers Rams get, they needed one, and they get one on cue.
First carry of the night for Brody Van Kalsbeek is a fumble, and Glenwood is going to take over on their own 37-yard line with 2:36 to go and 2 timeouts.
It looks like Gavin Abbott is the one that caused it.
Turnover vulture.
Yeah, like Clint was just calling him the turnover vulture. He causes 1 turnover a game.
So Glenwood, with a chance, they'll take over on their own 35-yard line.
37.
Yeah, with 2:36 to go. Carlo wanting to throw left side. Crouch trying to come back to the football, couldn't connect.
Yeah, Crouch just laid out for that one, trying to make it the catch there. If he would have probably stayed on his feet and took another step, he would have had it and then been able to step out of bounds and stop the clock.
So second down for the Rams, 2:31 to go, down by 4. And now Sergeant Bluff-Lutton's defense trying to bow their neck and get the stop. Carlo scrambling left, pocket collapsing, gets spun down for a sack. That was Xavier Jones that was there to sack him for a big loss on second down, and now it's 3rd and long. Good coverage downfield by Sergeant Bluff-Lutton.
Yeah, it looks like he was looking for Eisman back here on the comeback route, but Carlo was looking for the face mask calls. It looked like he did get pulled down by the face mask.
Yeah, I don't know if it was maybe from up here. It's tough to say. I don't know if it was maybe from the jersey and the way he spun, but he did get twisted awkwardly. And now it's a 3rd and 20 for Glenwood. Under 2 minutes to go. They've got it on their own 27. Carlo back to pass. Carlo scrambling, keeping his eyes downfield, and will dangerously just throw it up, and it was almost intercepted. Wasn't intercepted on the far side. The Sergeant Bluff-Lutton side is saying it was, and it was. That was Ehlers, I believe, that came up with it on the far side. Carlo had a defender draped all over him and just threw it up for grabs. Nobody was there.
It looks like he was trying to throw it out of bounds, because he did have Crouch in the area, but just with that defender draped all over him, both defenses causing turnovers here.
So now Sergeant Bluff-Lutton will take over on the Glenwood 37. 1:38 to go. The Rams only have one timeout. So this is dire times for the Rams, and now Jervik's going to run it. He's got the first down and more, and is brought down from behind by Gavin Abbott inside the 20, but that might be the dagger. Nice run by Jervik. The clock will run down to 1.5 minutes to go. So if you're Glenwood, you had a moment of hope with the fumble and then went backwards from there before the interception. And Sergeant Bluff-Lutton on the cusp of making the drive up I-29 with a quality non-district win in their back pocket. So we get down to 1 minute and 10 remaining, and they are going into victory formation. Jervik go down to a knee. They'll have to take at least one more knee.
Yep, Coach Faust does use that last timeout.
No, the clock's still running.
Oh.
I mean, at this point, you can take the timeout. It's not going to change the outcome.
Does it look like the far back ref was signaling like it was a timeout?
So down to 40 seconds to go, and Sergeant Bluff-Lutton will go into victory formation. A state-rated battle that emulated a heavyweight fight. SBL lands the final punch, and they beat Glenwood in a 14-10 doozy here tonight. John Lee, your thoughts on what we saw?
The miscues got the Rams again. Just not enough offense to help them out. The bad snap and the bad punt, unfortunately, caused them, miscues there, and it gave Sergeant Bluff-Lutton the short field to score the one touchdown they needed to be the difference here in this game.
Yeah, neither team really did anything offensively that's going to stand out to you or wow you, but Sergeant Bluff-Lutton just didn't make the mistakes that Glenwood did when it mattered most, and for that, they get the win. They're 3-1 of the year. They'll face Fort Dodge to open district play next week. As for Glenwood, they drop to 3-1 of the year. They start district play with rival Lewis Central coming up on Friday night. So, John, if you're the Rams, obviously this loss is going to sting, but you reset it, and I mean the whole new season starts next week with district play.
Yeah, you got district play coming up, and it's a rivalry here in Glenwood with Lewis Central. So even with Lewis Central leaving the Hawkeye 10, heading to that Missouri River Valley Conference, it's a rivalry. So we're going to see that next week. And personally, I've not seen Lewis Central of old that we've seen, where they're just dominating everybody, and this is a different Glenwood team. So it should be a good matchup next week and see who can come out on top.
Looking forward to that. We'll have that one on the KMA video stream next Friday night. But again, Sergeant Bluff-Lutton, a 14-10 winner over Glenwood. Looking forward to telling you all about that later on tonight, KMAland.com. John, appreciate you letting me hop on. I know you and Clint probably going to take some post-game coverage, but I guess we'll see you next week.
Yeah, and hey, we want to say thank you. we're able to stream the LC game for the first time in the 5 years I've been doing this at LC here on the GCSD stream and also on KMAland.com. I'll be making the trip up there with Dusty next week.
Yep, I believe we'll sort that out. But looking forward to that. But again, Sergeant Bluff-Lutton, a 14-10 winner tonight over Glenwood. For KMA Sports, I'm Trevor Mader.